It's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Hey guys, what's going on? Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here, and I don't know if you can hear the rumbling outside. Wow. But we have a very, very big thunderstorm blowing through. So the reason, for those of you that are wondering why the heck am I streaming so early, is because I am highly doubtful that I'm going to have power for the entire night. So if there is, if the live stream suddenly cuts off, but my channel is still in existence, then it doesn't mean that YouTube has deleted my channel. It means that our power has probably been knocked out by the storm. So I wanted to at least get in for a few minutes with you guys as weather permits. Wow. And hopefully not have to run to my shelter if it gets any worse. Kongu says, first, and yes, indeed you were. You beat Thomas by a hair. Thomas does say hi. Josh says stream. And then Thomas says early, so unsubbing, of course. Stromer says turd. Yes, indeed you are. Congo says hey. Cinnabon is here, says hi. Commander Shran says hello. Total Anthony says sup, big fella. Hey, man, sun's getting real low. Archangel says yo. And then that's when Thomas says, oh, my God, Picard trailer as ad. Oh, you got a... I was like, wait, is there a new Picard trailer? You say you got a Picard trailer as the ad for this live stream. That's hilarious. Mike Richards is here from Columbus, Ohio. How you doing? Stromer says, may the fort be with you, Josh. Not sure why. Hey, Antrigger, it's not harassment. It's just not supporting dangerous content. Yes. Oh, man. I tell you, I've actually gone through, and we were thinking about doing a video on it. I don't know if Mr. Miles is up to this one, because I basically read... YouTube recently revised their demonetization policy, and I read it like I would read any article and respond to it. But the video ended up being 45 minutes, or just the audio, I mean, ended up being over 45 minutes long. So hopefully Mr. Miles can make something work out of it. But yeah, it's so ridiculous to I mean, they actually, you know, like they're going to censor anti-vaxxers and crap like that. That's actually in there. Thomas says, sent you a few messages on Discord. Yes, indeed you did. And number 3, you got it, my friend. I will bring that up and then we'll talk. Alrighty, and why is my computer... Okay, sorry, I was like looking at 2 different things. And I heard, yeah, BIRDOPREY has been spying around the anti-checker base in Space Engineers. If you haven't already, if you have Space Engineers, the IP address for our server is in the description below. Feel free to join in. It is completely free. Well, the game isn't free, but our server is. Thanks to, in large part, to Wesley Crusher, who set up the server. And if you guys enjoy it, then we will continue to keep it running through what ad revenue we hopefully get. So, oh, man. Thomas and Andrew, there's no trailer played when I click. Yeah, I got it now, Thomas. I figured it out. Josh says, may the Schwartz be with you, Stromer. Wow, you guys are... Okay. YouTube caused this storm front to take us down. You know, Google's powerful, but I don't think they're quite Destro weather machine powerful yet. Almost, but not yet. Black Adam says, what if I flag you midstream for being white male? You could do that, Black Adam, and you'd probably get me in trouble. Shomer says, did you see the Kurogan dictator pillaging your base? I did not. I did not get a chance to see his stream today because I had to run some errands with Mrs. Anti-Checker and also get some things ready for our new arrival tomorrow, which hope you guys will see tomorrow. And stream complete. Why is it saying stream complete? Stream resumed. That's weird. It probably, I'm guessing, but if the stream just froze for a minute, it was right after a lightning strike, so I'm guessing that It probably messed with my internet connection briefly. Captain Cat throws $2 in there. Says, I sent you a message on Discord as well, my brother. Well, thank you, Captain Cat. I do see that. And it's some stuff on Rey from good old Star Wars. I'm so looking forward to episode 9. So I will check that out too. Let's see. Oh, it says I'm mentioned in that video? Really? So there's a video where somebody talks about me. Hopefully not in a negative way. Boy, I feel YouTube famous then. Let me see.
A couple years back, I put out.
And let's see. So I will check this out for sure. I don't know. Actually, Sheev Talk sounds familiar. I'm trying to remember. I think I might have seen some of his videos in the past, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been able to watch much lately. So I will definitely check that out, and that's cool if she mentioned me, and I know that my memory is fuzzy, but I seem to recall talking to Sheev in the past, and that he was a pretty good guy. So I would say check out the video, and of course you're probably saying, well, we don't have the link to the video, so let me grab that. If I can, man, come on, mouse, stop being stupid on me. Copy, and now bring the chat back up, and paste. So thank you, Captain Cat. I will indeed check that out. All right, and by the way, Captain Cat, of course, if you want a super chat, let me know. Says, good evening, Anti-Trucker. Hey, how you doing? Vimeo banned that Project Veritas for hateful content. Vimeo did? Really? That surprises me. Got the game downloaded and installed. Excellent, Captain Cat. So you want to join the server and then enter in the information from my description and you will be able to join our server. Black Adam says, hey, Trigger, my mom was in the hospital last night. She is... oh, thank God she has a bad kidney infection, man. I'm worried about my own mental health with all these scares. I understand. Having a parent who is not doing well with the old health can drive you absolutely nuts. So thoughts and prayers to you, my friend. I hope that she pulls out just fine, and you hang in there and be strong for her. She needs your help, man. Core says, "Shut up, Wesley." Well, of course you're Core, so he wouldn't say it quite like that. Star Trek Picard, Episode 1. Picard gives up Earl Grey tea as the caffeine is playing hell with his ticker. If only that's what it was. Remember, right now until July 9th, Space Engineers is $13.99 on Steam Summer Sale. Wow, I didn't know that, Josh. Thank you for spreading the word on that because I paid full price for it. But, well... technically, you guys paid full price for it for me. Google is in serious trouble. I'll tell you, right, it's so funny because today I watched Elizabeth Warren from the debate last night talk about Google and how they're a monopoly and they need to be broken up and that's bad for America, blah, 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 blah. And I also watched Senator Ted Cruz grilling a Google exec about the Veritas video stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, if Elizabeth Warren and Ted Cruz can agree that Google needs to be dealt with, Google is in serious trouble. So I actually agree with you, Core. I think that at this point, Google's days are numbered. I genuinely believe that because I think they've gotten the attention of both the Democrats and the Republicans in not a good way. Live with Matthew says, Google doing weather control would be a great indicator of their supervillain status. You're right about that. And then Captain Cat says, he lost power. You got kicked for it. Yeah, I think that there was a lightning strike that just knocked it for just a split second. So that might happen once or twice. But unless the lights actually go out and don't come back on, I'll keep trying to stream. If your house blows apart, remember that means no mortgage. True. That's true. James says it was Yoda. He can shoot lightning now. That's true. It absolutely could be. John says, Wakanda forever. Who streams themselves spying? Well, BIRDOPREY, of course. It's BIRDOPREY. What do you expect from that guy? Yeah, it's kind of negative. Oh, the video. Oh well, that's all right. I'll still watch it, but hopefully it's not horribly negative. Doomcock stream is affected by the thunderstorm too. Well, Doomcock, I believe, is in Texas. And a lot of times, yeah, storms will travel directly from Texas to Tennessee, but it doesn't seem like we should be. If he's getting hit by a storm right now, then chances are that's a storm that we're going to get hit with in the next day or so. You did a video on him almost 2 years ago. Okay. I'm trying to remember. It was probably one of my early videos. I don't remember what I said. I genuinely don't. I don't remember maybe I did say something mean about him. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it. Media apparently officially announced Michael Chabon we made showrunner instead of Kurtzman over Picard show. Yes! I actually recorded a reaction to that today. Mr. Miles has it in his editing room. Without giving away too much, I think it's much ado about nothing. Because if you look at Michael Chabon's career, the man is no showrunner. So are you happy about the Spider-Man thing? As far as there being a trans character in Spider-Man, whatever. Does it serve the story? We'll see. I don't know. I'm going to see the movie on Monday night. So when I see the movie, I'll let you know. But as far as, and that's the thing. Anytime, and this is what bothers me. I don't care what the sexuality or the gender or whatever of the characters in a movie are. What I care about is the movie any good? When the producers of the movie have to say, hey, we have a trans character, hey, we have a gay character, hey, we have a female character, as if that in and of itself makes the movie good, that is cause for concern. Because that doesn't improve the quality of the film. That's like saying, oh, we have a character with blonde hair. So what? Now, do you have an interesting character? That's what I want to know. Court says, don't listen to others. It's your fans' opinions that count. I'll try to remember that, Court. However, unfortunately, I am hurting right now because of Google. Not just my back. My back does hurt, but that's not what I'm talking about. Google is effectively suppressing us. And they're doing a very good job of it. And so, and this, I'm going to get serious for just a second with you guys. Google is, in fact, suppressing this channel. It's very clear. You can see it in the numbers. They are not suggesting my videos anymore when people search for similar content. They are, and they've been demonetizing me quite aggressively lately, even though they're still monetizing it after I challenge it most of the time. So my channel is on their list, apparently, of being hate speech or borderline hate speech or whatever. So the only way this channel is going to survive, people, is if you guys spread the word, tell your friends, get people to watch. And I don't like saying that. I don't want to throw that on you, but I need your guys' help with that. I can only do so much. Me and Mr. Miles will continue to pump out content as quickly as we possibly can. But if it's not going to show up on search algorithms, guess what? The only way people will ever find it is if the people who are already subscribed step up and share it with their friends. That's the only way we can grow at this point. So please, guys, help out. So sorry to get all serious and doom and gloom there for a second, but I got to be real. Legion says, Anti-Trucker, always so happy to make it to a live stream. Thanks as always, my friend, for your wonderful content. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Every stream, your setup behind you is different. Yes. And that is true. What is that between the NX refit and the turd coaster? But that is the Nostromo shuttle. Black Adam says, in a good Trek show, how would you change the LCARs? I would have the buttons make sense rather be 141, 151, 155, 155. I would too. Yeah. The layout of LCARs is cool enough, but yeah, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. It's obviously clearly just technobabble. Picard has an artificial ticker made by Google Hearts. Jeez, no. Oh man. Wait, what's a Veritas? Veritas Videos is they are an activist group. So they are a conservative activist group that started doing guerrilla journalism, basically bringing hidden cameras into various things. They blew the lid on Acorn back during the Obama administration, during the elections there. A lot of people didn't really give a crap, but Acorn was trying to rig the election, and Veritas was trying to expose that. And they did expose it, but nobody seemed to care. They've done several things since then, some great, some I haven't really noticed or paid attention to, but they managed to get a Google executive on camera basically saying that Google needs to stop Donald Trump. And that is, basically proving that Google is becoming an activist corporation and needs to lose its special exemption under the law where they're not liable. I tell you, Google is literally at this point, and I'm not even, I wish I was exaggerating. I wish I was being silly about this, but Google is literally trying to take over the world. That is what they're doing. And the problem is they have the power to do it. They'll take over the world without a shot being fired. So let's see. Congress went on recess, so nothing will change for 11 days. Well, yeah, getting things done in Congress is always a long time. Trek Reviewer says, hi. Hey, Trek Reviewer, how you doing, my friend? Project Veritas review how exposes nasty stuff. Yeah, yep. Pay off all student loans, bail out the loan companies. It worked well for the economy and the bank bailouts in 2000s, right? Right? Well, yeah, watching some of that debate last night, the Democrats are funny. I actually thought this was hilarious, right? So they were talking about wages and jobs and stuff, and Elizabeth Warren and this other person, they were talking about the fact that companies keep farming jobs out overseas, right? The companies are sending their people overseas, and we need more American jobs, right? And so what they were saying is that, well, there's going to be this huge influx of green tech jobs, right? Because everybody's going to want green tech. Forget about the fact that nobody gives a crap about green tech. They think that everybody's going to want green tech. Everybody's going to want an electric car. Everybody's going to want a windmill in their backyard. Everybody's going to want solar panels. Everybody wants green tech, right? So that's where the future is, according to the Democrats. So what they need to do is to incentivize companies to make more green tech, and they have to hire American workers to do it. That's what their proposition is, right? So then, not 10 minutes later in the debate, they go on to healthcare, and they actually say we need to allow more drugs to be brought in from other countries to reduce the cost of prescription drugs. So they literally are speaking out of both sides of their mouths here. They're saying, oh yeah, we need to force the companies to keep employees in America while we are subsidizing companies moving their operations overseas in the pharmaceutical industry. Mind blown. So yeah. Sci-Fi sits down, says, hello there, Anti-Tracker. Is that the Enterprise E? It is, in fact, the Enterprise E. Just going through various stuff back there. And let's see. Captain Cat said, no, you wasn't mean. You just disagreed that Luke and Han are Mary Sue's, and he thought Luke and Han are. Okay, it's starting to come back to me. Yeah, I've heard the idea that, I remember doing a video about that where people think that everyone is a Mary Sue, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but yeah. Oh, and Google and their goons are stifling them. Glad that someone finally got some attention. Yeah. There are apparently a few trans characters in the Transformers movies. Well, yeah, because they all are trans, right? So, is it going to be, hey, we have a straight white character? You know, the funny thing is, eventually it will be. The pendulum will swing to where eventually people are going to say, wow, hey, here's something novel. You know, we need an alternative listening site to counter Google. We do, Core. The problem is, while BitChute has potential, Vimeo is a pay service, so it doesn't really work as well. There's nothing that rivals the functionality and the sheer traffic that YouTube gets. But if Google continues to self-destruct, believe me, I will be the first person to migrate to these other platforms. I already have an account set up on BitChute. I'm putting stuff there occasionally, but I'm going to continue to focus on YouTube until YouTube is dissolved. And then I will just move to every other platform until one of them jumps out. Thundercats Ho says, when you censor a YouTuber, you're censoring the ears and the minds of the viewers. But that's not, you see, the problem is that the way that Google seems to see it is that it's not censorship. It's protecting people from hate, right? And, you know, the problem is that if you live in a bubble, I can see why you might think that. Because if you are convinced that anybody that opposes the far left progressive vision is hate, then yeah, you could say that with a straight face. The problem is that what these people at Google don't seem to understand is, quite frankly, the free and open discourse of different ideas is what made this country great in the first place. If we did not have the ability to disagree with the status quo, if we didn't have the ability to raise our voices in opposition to the party of power, we would still have slavery in this country. Women would not have the right to vote in this country. The Civil Rights Act never would have gotten passed. Right? If we couldn't stand up and say hell no to whatever it is that you're saying, none of those things would have happened. And they call themselves progressive. That's the hilarious part. But they are anything but. They want stagnant. I will share on my Facebook and ask my friends there to share as well. Thank you, Legion. I do, and I hate asking you guys to do that. I really do. But unless we grow, we die. Because YouTube is effectively suppressing the viewership on my videos, which reduces the ad revenue. You guys can't give me all your money in super chats to keep things going. So we have to grow this channel. And the only way to grow this channel now is going to be through direct word of mouth. It's not going to happen anymore based on just getting recommendations, because I get a lot. I mean, my videos have a great like-dislike ratio overall. And, you know, I'm very proud of that fact, but, you know, what can I do? Sorry, I know I've been going on tirades instead of talking about the chat here, so let me get back to it. Antrek, have you thought about getting sponsors? Yes and no, Resolute. You know, on the one hand, yeah, I wouldn't mind a sponsor, but at the same time, most companies don't want to sponsor a channel my size. Why would you sponsor some guy with 8,000 subscribers when you could sponsor someone like Nerdrotic or Lore Reloaded or something? It doesn't make a lot of sense to get a decent sponsorship on the small ones. And, you know, when you reach out, oh, sure, they'll do things like, for example, when Lore Reloaded was about this size and he was getting sponsored, so to speak, by Eagle Moss, right? Was Eagle Moss paying for his channel? Not one dime. All Eagle Moss did was give him free models, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. If Eagle Moss wanted to sponsor me and send me their models for free, I would be down for that. However, that doesn't pay the bills. And, you know, other companies will say, oh, yeah, you know, you'll get a sponsorship. Like, for example, you could look at BIRDOPREY, right? BIRDOPREY has an affiliate link with Amazon, which means that if you use his affiliate link, which, by the way, is in the description of this video if you want to use it, and you buy something from Amazon, BIRDOPREY gets a little kickback. But you would have to get people to buy everything they ever buy through your affiliate link to have it make any difference. Right? It's just not enough. Most corporate sponsors don't pay small channels anything, or they pay them so little that it doesn't matter. I'm working on reaching out to a couple of companies, actually, but I'm not particularly optimistic about it because I'm a small channel. And YouTube is effectively suppressing my viewership, so I can't even brag about my viewer numbers anymore. The more I rewatched Babylon 5 and watch interviews with the actors and writers, the more I liked it. They called out at SJW activism as stupid and bigoted, and they said it's individual character that matters. Well, that's cool. I didn't see those interviews, but Babylon 5 I'm kind of mixed on. I don't think it aged well, to be honest with you. I tried rewatching it recently, and yeah. I did propose a Fandom Menace site to promote Fandom Menace members' videos free from YouTube messing. I would actually, that would be interesting. And I know the Fandom Menace started with that author, and I'm on his list, but I don't know how he would do it. But I would be down for that. I think we do need to organize a Fandom Menace thing because there's a lot of great people in the Fandom Menace, and I don't agree with every one of them on everything. But that's the thing; we can have a discourse, and that's okay. Let's see. I did see. Though I need to figure out how to do a slideshow to do my own videos. Well, you'll get it, Captain. Just you can do that. I wrote an email to the head of Google. It reads, "Dear Mr. Schmeckelbeck, Anti-Tucker didn't do anything wrong. So suggest his live streams and videos. You stupid jerk. Loved." Thank you. Now, if I could just get all 8,600 of my followers to do that, then they would still ignore it because 8,000 is nothing to them. Elcars is Technobabble, but it's from Star Trek. They never have Technobabble. Yeah, Vile, come on now. Bird of Prey is in the house, says, what? This early start? Yes, Bird, we have a huge storm blowing through right now, and I'm not sure how long I will have power, so I thought I would do a live stream a little earlier than usual, because when I lose power, well, the live stream will suddenly and immediately end. So I just want to get on there while I can to suck up as much of your money as I'm able. Eric says, "Hey, Checker, the YouTube channel Game Theory did an awesome video about the YouTube thing going on. Worth a watch." Really? Okay, I'll check. Game Theory is... I like the Film Theory channel. I really don't follow Game Theory. But I will have to check that one. I think it's... Film Theory expanded to Game Theory, right? Let me see. Game Theory. Game Theory... Oh, YouTube is ruining gaming 4 days ago. That looks like that's got to be it. And I recognize that is the Film Theory dude. Hey, amazingly, the video's not demonetized. Yeah, they have 11 million subscribers. That's amazing. I would love to have that. I would be retired. Let's see. Bird-of-Prey is storming outside. Oh, you're answering for me because I'm so far behind. Dang, no more talking about Bird-of-Prey 5 anymore. That's okay, Thomas. We all know about him. And Bird throws $2 in, says, "For Google and you." Thank you so much, Joe. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate it, man. I truly do. If you want a super chat, let me know. Thomas is entering. Picard told Shinzon they have the same heart. I didn't know Shinzon had a fake heart. Yes, he did. He had a Tom Hardy heart. 2020 election, 2020 Trump versus Mr. Google. Yeah, that's the thing, is that Google is actively trying to rig the election. And, I know that my saying this is obviously this live stream is going to get demonetized. Why? Because they censor things that speak out against them. I can't believe that they took down Veritas videos thing, because, how much more obvious can you get that you're censoring than to censor the videos that speak out against you? But I gotta be honest about it. It worries me every single day right now. I am living under constant stress. Besides the fact that my back is killing me, besides the fact that I got to go in for all these procedures on my back and knee that I'm definitely not looking forward to, I now have to live with the stress of not knowing if any given day Google is simply going to say, "Enough with you, you're gone," and take away all of my income from Google. And, I'm sorry, they should not be in the position of power that they are in right now. They are an evil corporation the way they are behaving right now, and the fact that their people with a straight face are trying to deny it just makes it worse. Google, just admit what you're doing and course correct. Anti-Jerry, before Adpocalypse 1, I was offered a partnership, had my videos promoted. Since then, refused monetization, and they have videos suppressed. I'm not shocked that Google is stifling content. I'm not shocked, but it sucks. 46 watching and 20 likes. Smash that button or BIRDOPREY 5 will shoot you because he has no other choice. Yes, for those of you that don't know, that's how BIRDOPREY 5 sees it, is that if you happen to be in the same area as him, and yeah, he'll shoot you because of no other choice. But I think Mrs. Antrecker wants you to hit that like button, don't you, babe?
Hit that like button.
That's right. Hit that like button, guys. You can do it. I know you can. Because, well, why the heck not? And let me get back to the chat. And actually, let me check something real quick. In your channel. All right. And so, hey, it hasn't been demonetized yet. I'm amazed. All right, so the Beto guy was asked a question about the tax, take the rich, and he talked about voting right. Oh yeah, you talk about during that debate. It was hilarious. Like at one point, they were asking about women's, the income gap, which by the way is a complete and utter lie. And me and Steve Shives got into that one time in a discussion. And Steve fully admitted that the income gap between men and women is a complete lie, but it doesn't matter because it's such an important issue we should be discussing it anyway. Not making that up, he actually did say that. But they were talking about the income gap, and she went into this whole thing about the military. She didn't even touch the income gap issue. Anyway. I think the first officer, oh wait, let's see. Cord says, Google is powerful, but like most idiots, they move too quickly. Now people are aware. That's true. They tip their hand too fast. They actually, you are 100% right about that. Is that they need to be more subtle about these things before they can become completely fascist. But unfortunately, well, fortunately for us, but unfortunately for them, they did tip their hand too soon. Black Adam says, I think the first officer should have the terminal where they could go get info they need on a species, backup weapons, and fleet order updates. Would be cool to see them have purpose. Are you talking about the LCARS thing, or are you just saying in general? Because yeah, I can see that. Can Jordy see? No. Star Trek says, you need to do some awkward Democrat Spanish unrelated to your video show how woke the YouTube. Oh, that was hilarious. When the candidates would just suddenly speak in Spanish with no context for a couple of minutes just because they want to prove I care about the Spanish speakers. But yeah. So you just need to do some awkward Democrat Spanish unrelated to your video to show how woke you are. Yeah, the problem is I don't speak Spanish. So maybe I should. I should just like randomly in the middle of my videos like have write out phonetically things like, "Hey, if you understand this, I care about you," or something. I don't know. Let's see. Google and commie-crats are clowns, just like clowns in the fictional Gotham City. However, they are never funny. That is true. Kronos is here. Good to see you, Kronos. Haven't seen you in a live stream in a little bit. Says, Andrew, hey there. I hope you're doing well and glad to see you are representing the bestest enterprise in the background. Well, it's one of the enterprises, yes. Is it too late to get a bunch of stock in BitChute? I tell you, yeah, this is the time to invest in BitChute because if Google keeps up the way they are, BitChute is going to take off, I tell you. Thomas says, I have to go to work, so if you're still on, I'll come back when you get here. If not, see you tomorrow. All right, my friend, thank you for hanging out with us, Thomas. I do truly appreciate it. And let's see. Core says, I would be all for them to do that Babylon 5. I would like to see a Babylon 5 revival, but do it right. You know. Or you're talking about doing a remaster. That could be cool. The problem is that, like, the special effects are one thing. Yes, the special effects were not real good. But the sets were also not very good. Well, hold on. I got to check this and see what's going on here. Hello? All right, so that was just a automated reminder that I have a doctor's appointment coming up on Monday. So sorry about that. Let's get back to the chat. But I wouldn't mind, but the sets on Babylon 5 are really bad. I'm sorry, they just are. Let's see, how I feel about Google protecting me.
What have you done to my friends?
I've done nothing. This is who they are. Didn't you know that?
Yes, it's the infamous Kirk, I need my pain. Very, very apropos, my friend. And let me get the stupid chat back up because I accidentally didn't do that right. So now, hold on, guys. It's going to take me a minute. I accidentally closed the chat when I brought up that link. All right. All my conservative family are watching the Democratic debates and want to yell at me about them, despite me not being a Democrat. They know I'm more liberal than they are, so they label me as that. That sucks. I'll tell you, I think the Democratic debate last night was hilarious. It really was. I wish, if I had a political channel, I would go blow by blow through that debate. Except that Google would censor me now. Could do what Rageaholic is doing, go to another platform like Chatterbait. I've never heard of Chatterbait. Don't go visit BIRDOPREY. All right, I promise I won't. I want to start an evil corporation. I want to start a company called Evil Corporation. My company motto will be "Don't be Google." That would be awesome. So what's worth it? Google meddling in elections or Russia? Well, first of all, Russia didn't really meddle in the elections. At least there was no proof of that. But I know people think that happened. I'd love to know how the Russians meddled in the election. But yeah. However, as far as what Google's trying to do is basically to brainwash Americans into thinking that conservatives are evil. In chat, they say there's a 1 minute 50-second delay. Okay, not sure what you mean there, Stuart, but working on getting caught up. I'm gonna just do the ones that are addressed directly to me for a minute so that I can get caught up here. I apologize. But BIRDOPREY says women's soccer players need to get paid the same as male soccer players. Nothing. This is America. Yeah, there you go. I agree. Morning, answering new Google shenanigans. Yeah, Fed, they are actively suppressing this channel at this point. While I am getting demonetized, and when I challenge them, they monetize the videos. However, they are definitely no longer showing up in searches unless somebody's already subscribed to the channel. And I can see that in the analytics, and I can see it in the actual view counts. So yeah. Google ski report to Comrade Putin. Okay. Wow, 30 minutes in and 41 likes. Well, that's not too bad, honestly. That's true about the pay gap is a lie. My brother-in-law is an RN and he gets paid less than the women RNs. I'll tell you, here's the funny thing about the pay gap, Josh, is that no freaking company on this planet these days, if you have a position that is open, right? If you have a job that is open, and I don't care what it is, but let's say that you're a widget maker, right? That's your job as widget maker. If a man and a woman both get hired into the widget maker position, they're probably going to start at the exact same wage. Now, over the next few years, their wages might differentiate slightly based on your performance appraisals. So if one is doing better widgets or producing more widgets than the other, that person's wage will increase more. Now, if that happens to be the man, that is not sexist. If it happens to be the woman, that is not justice. It should be an egalitarian system. The way you make more money is to excel at your job, period. However, we're at a point now to where we want to, and they don't even do honest numbers. They take all the wages of all men and all the wages of all women and average them out and say, men make more money than women. Boo frickin' who. Then when you start looking at individual job sectors, they always cherry pick jobs where men have been doing it longer than women. Because that way you have lots of men that have been doing the job for 30 years, and while there are more women doing the job, they've only been doing it for 15 years. And so 30 years of time getting raises and all that, you're making more money. You also have to take into account, and sorry, it's a biological fact, women tend to take leaves of absence more often than men, mainly because they have kids, and women have a tendency to suspend their career for years at a time to raise their kids. Now, that does suppress their wages a little bit, but is that sexist? No, it's not the corporation's fault that the person took a leave of absence. But yeah, sorry, that's my whole rant. All right, so the bestest enterprise, says Kronos. Agree to disagree there. I speak only enough Spanish to get myself into trouble. I don't even speak that much. Hey, shit behind you have 25 or 24 or 28 or 36 or I don't know how many decks. The problem is I don't speak Spanish. Yeah, apparently neither does Corey Spartacus Brooker. That was not Spanish. Really? I don't speak any Spanish, so I couldn't tell what he was saying. And say, BIRDOPREY, can't argue with you there, but then American football is a bit soft compared to rugby. Well, okay, there's that. Captain Cat throws a couple of bucks in and say, I don't have a choice, but I don't have a choice. I don't want to get shot. You will not get shot by me, Captain Cat. But, BIRDOPREY, that's another thing. Google called me. Yeah, that was my doctor's office. That's all it was. William Wallace calls at the worst moments. Yes. Got my ringtone there. When is a turd station will it be built so I can rain death down on the Kurogans? Well, the turd station is actually coming along very nicely. I was there just a little while ago checking it out, and you guys that have been in there have done an incredible job. BIRDOPREY is in a serious problem right now. I know he's spying around it, but we need to kick him off the team so he can't do any damage. And so I would say to suppress one point of view over another is un-American. I would agree with you, DJ. I would absolutely agree with you. And you know what? The Democrats would agree with you as well, as long as they're talking about their voices being suppressed. Where the problem is, and this is the hypocrisy of our political system, the Democrats will scream about how American it is to be the party of opposition when they're the party of opposition. But when somebody else is opposing them, they're hate mongers, they're racists, and that hate speech needs to be silenced. Congo says soccer isn't a bad game in concept. It's basically the same thing as basketball, which is fun. I think the problem is that the field is too big and it takes too long for things to happen. I have to leave. I'll try and be back. All right, Congo, take care. And you're probably already gone, so oh well. Why don't you make a woke-tastic video? I tell you, I'm tempted because at this point, I can't make it any worse. Democrats are always good for a laugh. That is true. I also disagree. Babylon 5 sets weren't great, but they weren't bad either. Seen much worse. I've seen worse, but I'm sorry. The bridge of the Enterprise in the 1960s looks better than the ops area of Babylon 5 by a long shot. If you have more than one Enterprise, is it a flock of Enterprise, a gaggle of prizes, a murder of Kirks? That's a good question. I believe it is a fleet. Don't go to Chatterbait. All right, I won't. I don't know what Chatterbait is, so okay. Do you think Russian people think America meddled in their elections? I don't know what they think, but that would be funny. A wisdom of Enterprises. No, it is a fleet. Sorry. Might get me ridiculed in some crazier circles, but Americans in general don't particularly strike me as stupid. Quite the opposite in certain regards. Well, the Fed, I know the American people are not stupid. They are divided. And actually, it's an interesting thing about this country is that we are almost perfectly divided between people who lean left and people who lean right. And unlike a lot of other countries, I think a big part of that is our diversity, is the fact that we actually are an extremely diverse country. And so we welcome that. And that's the protection of freedom of speech encourages that. And we should be divided, because if we were all thinking the same thing, tyranny reigns. And that's what Google is trying to achieve, is tyranny. Make no mistake about it. Anti-Trekker for president, says James Pace. Thank you, my friend. Although, yeah, I would not make a good president. Pay based on merit, demonetized. Yeah, exactly right. Antrekker, drinking contest. Take a shot each time Google strikes your videos. I would probably be dead if that were the case. I'm telling you. And dang it. Yeah, the whole political thing is just it's scary right now. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I haven't been laws on the books already for a couple of decades before all this wage gap argument. Haven't there been laws on the books already for a couple of decades before this wage gap argument became a thing? Yes, here's the thing about the wage gap argument, is that the government cannot tell businesses how much to pay their employees. That's not a thing, except for minimum wage. That is a federal law, right? So there is minimum wage, but the government can't say, hey, if you're hiring a class 2 widget maker, you have to pay them $28 an hour, regardless of if they're a man or a woman. They also cannot say, hey, if you hire a woman, you have to pay her as much as your tenured men, right? They can't do that. That's not constitutional. They have no direct control over how a business runs itself internally. However, when they say what they do, make it so that it's illegal to discriminate based on gender or sexuality or any of that stuff, right? So when it comes to hiring practices, you cannot discriminate. However, many states are at will, which means you can be fired for any reason whatsoever, which negates any kind of protective laws. On top of all that, when the government starts talking about hiring quotas or representation or outcome-based stuff, well, what they're talking about is government agencies and their hiring and government contractors. Because if you're a government contractor, you have to fulfill certain rules. And here's a true story, all right? This guy I'm going to talk about, in my humble opinion, is a complete and utter dick. But I'm going to defend him, all right? His name is Douglas Peterson. Now, Douglas Peterson was actually, he's a business owner in Portland, Oregon. He owns a convenience store called Peterson's. And Peterson's has been a staple. Now, granted, overpriced and all that, and I know all about Peterson's because both me and my wife at one point in time worked there. But Peterson's was it was a staple of Portland. It's been in business for 30 plus years, all under Doug's scrutiny, and he's opened several locations. Now, here's what happened: the area of downtown Portland where his original Peterson's convenience store, that's been there for 30 years, is located, was forcibly moved and shut down because they were renovating the parking structure in which the building was the store was a part of. And once the renovation is done, they will only allow businesses owned by women and minorities, which means they just shut him down because he's a white man. That, my friends, is absolute racist discrimination. Now, I don't like Doug Peterson. That's just my own personal opinion of the man. I'm not saying he does, I'm not saying he does dishonest business practices or anything like that. I just didn't like the man, right? But that's fine, right? You're perfectly entitled to be a jerk. I didn't like the guy. But he absolutely had the right to run his business. He absolutely had the right to continue to be the landmark business that he was always been, that he has been there for 30 years making money, and people have loved his business. They're shutting him down because he's a white man. F you, Portland, Oregon. But yeah. I spoke with the government statistician. He said that they must politically say women get paid less. They add all wages, including overtime, divide by all people, including housewives. Yeah, I know. It's the way they try to calculate that stuff is an absolute joke. It really is. Yes, Ed Trigger for president. No. Agree to disagree on your take on First Contact. No, it's not my take on First Contact. I like the Enterprise E. I think it's way better than the Enterprise D. But I still like the Connie best as far as the ships. And it has nothing to do with First Contact. Let me see. Sorry, going on that whole tirade made me mess up the chat. Let me get... Okay. I didn't shoot anyone today. I was shot by your base multiple times. Oh, good. Bruce Lombardo's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. James Pace, you're the only person on the Kuroga team and marked as team leader. That's fun. So BIRDOPREY is not on the Kuroga team. I think he needs to be. He was trying to destroy your base. Of course he was. I hope, Wesley, since you're here, Wesley, you did turn off the auto accept for the anti-tracker and team and stuff so that, you know, we don't have people just swapping teams or joining just so they can go in and destroy things, right? Doomcock shouted you out on the Exozone. Awesome. That's cool. I didn't, but he shouted out BIRDOPREY 5. Well, that's less awesome, but still awesome. 24 or 25? Are you talking about the decks? It just depends on who you ask. Hey, man, I managed to catch this live stream. Yes, Wesley, good to see you, my friend. And sorry I'm so far behind in the chat. Two-party system is broken. We all know it. It forces you to choose a side, which we're all... when we're all better off just being honest and getting things done. Yes, I agree 100%. The system is broken. Maybe try appearing on other streamers' channels to boost subscriptions. Thundercats, I'm actually honestly working behind the scenes on doing exactly that a little bit. And hopefully we'll be able to do something soon with a couple of prominent members of the nerd community that I care deeply about. So that's what I'm hoping. I guess you haven't watched the God Culture channel yet. Sorry, Thor. Yeah, things have been a little crazy with the whole YouTube suppression deal, so I apologize, but I will get to it eventually. Keep on pestering me, my friend. Discord has been slow to upload my internet. Well, sorry about that. How many decks on... Why do you keep asking about the number of decks? We all know it's screwed up. Turdistan is winning the space race. Cinnabon made it to low planet orbit. Very cool, Wesley. Although it's funny because, you know, BIRDOPREY, I don't think has he even established a base on the ice lake yet. The wage gap outlines the difference between men and women. Women don't do a lot of hard production jobs. Well, it's not just that. And we kind of went over it before. But yes, if you look at the difference in wages between men and women, when you filter out different types of work, when you filter out tenure on the job, when you filter out leaves of absence and that kind of thing, and filter out performance gaps, the actual difference in wages between men and women is about $0.015 to 2 cents, somewhere around there. But people like Steve Shives will say, well, that's still a wage gap, and that means it's a crisis, and blah, blah. And it's like, okay, dude, whatever. I would say comparing Granny Smith apples to Red Delicious. Not sure what you're talking about there, but okay. Chrono says, please check PalPay Lawnmaster, please. Well, here's the problem there, Chronos. Thank you, by the way, but there's a change in the way the super chats work. I'm not sure which one is Lawnmaster. And I don't know if BIRDOPREY knows which one is Lawnmaster yet. Let me see if I can find out. But yeah, so just so you know, what we do now is you have to give me the number, and because there's too many of them for me to remember them. But I'm going to see if I can find out. Hold on, that's super chat. Where's the... so Bird does know. All right, Bird, thank you, my friend, and I will put that up there for you. And thank you for sending it to me through Skype, because it would have taken me 20 minutes to find it there. All right, so here we go.
Hello, everybody. Is your front yard not growing according to your plan? Are you unable to eradicate those pesky rebellious crabgrass? Call us. I am the Lawn Master, and everything will grow according to my design. Do it.
And there it is, UBERCHAT number 10. So remember that for future reference. UBERCHAT number 10 is the Lawn Master. But thanks to BIRDOPREY, you can give him some love. He's the one that that pulled that out of the hat for me. While the wage gap is a complete myth, the prison sentence gap is not a myth. I don't hear the feminists arguing for equal sentences for equal crimes. That's true, Schromer. That is actually an interesting fact. Reddit shut down President Trump. Yes, you now... well, they didn't shut it down. My understanding was they basically put it in a... similar to a demonetized status. You can't... it won't come up in searches, and if you try to enter the President Trump area of Reddit, you'll get a warning that it's got, like, hate speech and crap. The guy I'm going to defend is a complete and utter dick. Lore Reloaded is sometimes cranky, but dick seems harsh. I was not talking about Lore Reloaded, obviously. Core says that's racism. If you're talking about, what I was talking about, yes. And I thought Antracker getting a new computer would make things better. Well, Kronos, it is better. It's we have more super chats available. Look at the numbers there. So the new question is, does anybody know the number for Lawn Master? Oh, well, we already figured that out. BIRDOPREY did. And now my whole thing got screwed up again. Okay. Bruce says, BIRDOPREY 5, he should have instead moved elsewhere. Hello, Antracker. Hey, Bruce, how you doing? I agree. BIRDOPREY 5, he said, should excise his Second Amendment rights. That's, I don't even want to know. Wesley says, you are marked as the anti-trekker team leader. All right. Thank you, sir. Wow, that's some lazy stuff. Just have peeps just pay for a number. Ah, the old day where you knew what you were paying for. Well, no, but here's the thing, Kronos. The numbers don't change. So now you know that number 10 is Lawn Master. So you can pick that one every time if you want. Thor's Hammer's taken off. All right, my friend, have a good one. List of Super Chats is actually, and thank you, BIRDOPREY, is on the Anti-Trekker community page, and he puts the link there. Word politics is broken down. We need a change. World politics is broken down. We need change. You are so right, Core, but I don't know what's going to happen. Wow, Lawn Master was Uber? Yeah, you didn't know that? And, all right, let's go. Let's see. Lawn work sucks. Doom. Did I hear 23? Okay. I'm trying to get caught up. So if I hate speech, is that love speech? Well, double negative, so yes. So if you hate... That should be the name of a video right there. I'm laughing. Imagine if all the Super Chats actually tell a story, culminating with Lore stealing the wife and his new secret agent getting his job after he snipes the adulterer. Oh, that would be horrible. Bruce is saying number 23. Yes, number 23 is the best. Did you put a Super Chat in that I missed? Because I know my chat is like completely screwed up right now. So I don't know if you did, but I'm gonna think you did right now because I could use a number 23 right about now. Ah, yes. The ultimate Super Chat. I will shake his hand, giving him love. My wife would object. I will shake his hand, giving him love. My wife would... I'm not sure what you mean there. That's kind of weird. And yes, Bruce did put $1.99 in the chat. Thank you, Bruce. And it looks like you said number 23 before you put the $1.99 in. But I'm still confused. And knowing is half the battle if you remember all the numbers. Yes, that's true. To hate is still hate. But is it really? Stuart says, look on your Discord direct message, Anti-Trekker. All right, Stuart. Let's take... Oh, okay, so there we go. I had this box set. The first 6 Star Trek films on VHS. You put them all next to each other, and you get a lovely picture of the Enterprise. And there's actually a box set of the first 5. And then Star Trek 6 came out, so they just kind of expanded the image a little bit. That's why it's off-center. But yes, I did have that box set. And it was... Thomas has returned. Good to see you. Who is screaming goat? I saw them on the server earlier. I don't know. What did you say about basketball, kid? All of you know that basketball kicks soccer's butt 5 ways to 1. I tend to agree, but I also think that's an interesting point that the soccer field is just too big. Because... It does take way too long for anything to happen. Now, when I said the sports are similar, I meant that they're both goal games with teams like 6 guys, similar games, different tempos. I think soccer's tempo is way too boring. I agree. It was when you said give BIRDOPREY some love. Oh, okay. Thank you. Had that too, says BIRDOPREY. Not sure what you had, but okay. Greetings, says John DeMarco. Good to see you. Wesley says, who here has played on the server's date? Just wondering. I know Cinnabon has spent some decent time on the server. Obviously, you have, Wesley, and I know BIRDOPREY has. But yeah, love to know if you guys are enjoying the server. You should. Please do. Because we want to make sure if you guys aren't enjoying it, then there's no point in keeping it going. And I know that Wesley really wants to keep it going. But he's not going to pay for it every month. I have to pay for it, and I'm only going to pay for it if it's worth paying for. I had that one too, both the 5 and 6 movie sets. Yes. One was stealing my inventory. Who was stealing your inventory? I'll tell you. Wesley's a random player about to run into a see. Yeah, we need to make sure that's why I'm saying we need to make sure that we're locking the teams out then, because if somebody's going in and stealing inventory, that's not cool. So, yeah. And 4 subscribers, I meant paid subscribers. I must have missed something there. And by football, I mean soccer. Hockey is the best sport. Disagree. The best sport is video games. Had the VHS tapes? Of course you did, Bird. Wesley says, enter in Cinnabon, you should add a password. Should we add a password to get in? I'm not against that. Granted, anybody can get the password just by coming to my channel, but that's fine. To keep random people from going in there and trolling. Mr. Miles is here and unsubbing. Well, that's okay. If you don't unsub Mr. Miles, Google will probably do it anyway. I spent a bit of time on the server, says File Mike. Well, you are welcome, my friend. Soccer field a bit too big. If anything, I figure basketball's court is much too small. Disagree. Because if you made the basketball court bigger, the pace of that game would slow down. The political compass needs to add an extension to the left side of the spectrum. I come out pretty far left, and I'm mixed race marriage, but according to the SJWs, I'm a far right fascist. Well, that's because according to SJWs, anybody who's not an SJW is a far right fascist. It's difficult, and that's the thing. SJWs are not your typical liberals, and that's why I want people to be clear. I don't hold a grudge against liberals. I might disagree with them on some things. I might agree with them on others, but I have no problem with liberals. I have a problem with SJWs. Is it difficult to write all the chats in the description? Is it difficult to write all the chats in the descriptions? Yeah. The description would be frickin' 6 miles long. I still have the Star Trek movie box set. Very cool, Mike. I don't anymore. But I do have them on Blu-ray now. You can never trust the evil dictator of Kuroga. That is 100% true. I had them on Betamax. Very cool. Do you still? Did you see the BIRDOPREY spawned in your base and gets killed trying to escape? No, that is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. I did not see that. Had Search for Spock and Wrath of Khan on VHS cost me a lot of money in the 80s. Oh, yeah. Movies in the 80s, people don't realize, like, a VHS movie back in the 80s was like 80, 90 bucks. I don't mind. I started leaving the team before signing off so my stuff would be locked. Well, but that's the thing, Cinnabon, is that you want people on our team that are truly in our team to be able to access stuff, if assuming there's stuff you don't mind sharing with people. Kronos, I love being a far-right fascist. Okay. If you say so. Bruce says they aren't real liberals. If you're talking about SJWs, I agree. I assume that's what you're talking about. Wesley says, enter. I will try to add a password to the server tonight and post it in the Discord chat. All right, my friend. Make sure you DM it to me as well, just so that I have it. I'm going to add it to the description in my live stream videos. Trigger only pays me crap wages because I'm a liberal. That is true. No, Mr. Miles, you know that the reason I pay you crap wages is because I only make crap wages because of Google. But I'm working on it. My conservative family and liberal friends both think that that because I'm not in either camp, I'm automatically on the far right of an opposing spectrum. Yeah, I know. That's the way people are, the far side of the opposing spectrum. That's the way people are these days. We need to break that. We need to stop this extremist level of thinking, where if you are not extreme left, you must be extreme right. I'm sorry, not every Republican is a freaking far right wing nut job. Not every Democrat is a far left nut job. But that's what it's so funny because like if you watch the Democratic debate, it's like they start out, and I mean this is MSNBC here, so you have Rachel Maddow and those gang sitting there as the hosts of this debate, and they're saying, today we're going to talk about the environment and women's rights to choose, and how horrible Trump is, all those coffee table subjects that's affecting every man, woman, and child in this country. And it's like, what? Who is talking about this in there at the coffee table? No, you know what people are talking about? Paying their bills. Hey, there's Spider-Man's coming out next week. Woo! Hey, did you see Avengers Endgame? That's what people are talking about. They're not talking about the horrors of whether or not the federal government is going to pay for abortion. James Pace says, $90? Holy anti-tricker. $90. Oh, yeah, for VHS, yes. That is absolutely true, James. Still have a lot of VHS. I have a few lying around. I don't think I have any of my old Star Trek ones, though. VHS better than DVD. Stuart, I love you, man, but no. Oh, yeah, don't mind if you guys take anything. I was trying to keep random people from stealing. That's not... Yeah, I understand, Cinnamon. So that's why we just need to make sure we secure the teams. Empire Strikes Back cost us $89 in 1984. It sounds about right. Simon from Dublin says, I met Walter Koenig last Saturday. That is awesome. Never met Walter Koenig, but I'm sure he's a cool guy. I love his sense of humor. When he was on Futurama and they said, can people that don't like Star Trek leave? And Walter Koenig's like, good question. I love that. Just can't play them, probably erased anyway. Just can't play them, probably erased. I'm sure I'm missing some context there. Oh, because your VHS tapes. Yeah. That would be a problem. I actually do have a VCR. Anyways, amused me when those loonies tried to call me a National Socialist. Sorry, I'm not going to say that word because that word triggers the bots. Technically speaking, if I was, I'd have to off myself since Slavs are, I can't pronounce that word. I don't know what it is. And that twisted philosophy, I assume, means that they're somehow a subclass of person or something. He pays Mr. Miles crap wage because he has to pay all those liberal taxes. So that's actually, it's not the liberal taxes, it's the liberal Google wages. I mean, because Mr. Miles gets paid out of what Google pays me. And with Google, and that's the thing. And I feel for Mr. Miles and me, quite frankly, right now, because Google is trying to screw us in every way possible right now. And so, yeah. And by the way, I liked the quartering, I think it was, he had a video recently that I think really kind of nailed it when he was talking about the potential breakup of Google or something, is that, that Google's been saying that YouTube doesn't make any money. And so if that's the case, then that proves that the management of Google is completely and utterly incompetent, because there's no way that you should be losing money on YouTube. No frickin' way. When Google completely demonetized you, is Miles working for free again? Well, probably for just a little bit, and then he'll quit. Let's see. Vile Mike says, Thomas, I feel your pain because the owner of his eBay store pays me next to nothing for all my work. Well, so you pay yourself next to nothing. Okay, I see how it is. All right, and then BIRDOPREY says, attention everyone, I have made the Super Chat list public on the website, and puts the link. John says, I have a copy of Star Trek 2 on VHS. I have the 25th anniversary on Blu-ray, which is cool. Thomas, he lives in Tennessee, no state tax. That is true. However, yeah, it's not the taxes, it's Google. Plus, if you consider it communism and the philosophy came from the same exact same. Well, the funny thing is that people want to think that the National Socialist Party was actually conservative, but yeah. I'm not going to even get into that discussion right now. Rathicon was worth every dime I paid back then. Oh, absolutely. VHS movies used to cost $40 a pop, 60 to 80 if adjusted for inflation. Actually, Mike, new releases were about 80 to 100. 40 was after it had been out for a little while. Random people stealing means bird of prey. Probably, yes. Hello, Lauren. Sci-Fi is talking to Mr. Miles. Let's see. Sorry, but I need to plug this guy's website. Please don't block me on this one. Antitrekker.com. All right, J-Roar, I will let it slide this time. I once asked Antitrekker for a raise, and he said only real people get raises, and because I'm both liberal and an atheist, I don't count as a real person, and he kicked me in the stomach and spit on me. Well, first of all, Mr. Miles, that's only half true. But I'm not going to say which half. Mr. Wolverine says, Antitrekker, I still have about 1,000 VHS tapes. Wow. Mr. Wolverine, you are either very, very old or very weird or both. So let's see. He was old, no disrespect meant. He spoke at Comic-Con in Dublin. Very hard to hear him. Mike was bad. You mean caning? Yeah, that's too. You know, I know that if the sound sucks at those types of things, it can be really frustrating. But if I like basically, I go to those events mainly just for the autographs and photo ops, because especially on some of the second string people, you can actually talk to them for a few minutes. Like me and Mrs. Antitrekker talked to LeVar Burton for about a solid 20 minutes or so, and it was actually a really fun conversation. I talked to Jamie Bamber and Michael Trucco from Battlestar Galactica for over an hour with Lore Reloaded. And then the next day, while walking the floor, Jamie Bamber recognized me, and I introduced him to Mrs. Antitrekker and Joshua. That was a lot of fun. Do you like Star Trek Enterprise? I know Captain Foley doesn't. I thought Enterprise was all right. I actually think that as far as the set pieces, Enterprise was among the best. I'm not a big fan of the uniforms. Like But I like the internal design of the ship. It felt like a ship, more so than Next Gen by quite a stretch, more so than Voyager by a significant amount. It felt like you were on a ship. I think that the first two seasons were weaker, and that's why Enterprise has a bad rep. But season 3 and season 4, and particularly season 4, was really, really good. Wow, what was it that happened to the world you were playing, Mr. Wait, what has happened to the world you are paying, Mr. What has happened to the world you're paying, Mr. Miles? Oh, sorry, Kronos. Yeah, you've been gone for a while, my friend. Mr. Miles, my editor-in-chief, he's actually editing most of the videos that come out these days. Mainly because I've had to do some work around the house this week, and also I've been focusing on trying to get things set up behind-the-scenes stuff that hopefully will benefit the channel in the long run and keep it from being completely destroyed by Google's evil practices. And sorry, when I call Google evil, I know that sounds like a stretch, but that's what they're being. YouTube money is embezzled and given to the far-left politicians to help far-left technocrats. Not necessarily, like I said, Elizabeth Warren has got her sights on Google as well, which I think is interesting. Fed says that's kind of why BitChute is kind of appealing. As I said in the previous stream, with base tech can make the costs a bit lower. The major costs are mostly server and storage. Yes, but BitChute has a problem with reliability, and BitChute also has a problem with monetization, as in it doesn't exist. Like if I allow ads on my videos, 100% of the ad revenue goes to BitChute. Now you can support people through, like BitChute simply has a support this channel icon, so that like you can click on it and give money to that creator, which is fine and dandy. But as far as I know, I don't think they do live streaming yet, and so I don't know if those super chats are even possible at this point. Google's trying to screw you in every way possible, like in the bum. Gross. Yeah, it's gross. It is definitely gross. Do you have AOC does Dallas? That VHS would be worth a lot of money. Yes, it certainly would. At least Antitrekker paid enough attention to you to both spit on you and kick you. I am not going to confirm or deny any of that. Daring Sylvester says, my dad has almost all TOS on VHS when I was a kid in the late 90s. Well, if you were a kid in the late 90s, you just made me feel very old. Thank you. If Google were savvy, which I sort of worry they are not, they'd fork the BitChute tech. Well, here's the thing. If Google were smart right now, here's what they should do, honestly. They need to fire some high-level executives, say, It is true that we have been that this company has been politically biased over the last few years, especially since 2016. We are course correcting now, and and then actually do it, then actually be the neutral platform that they claim in front of Congress, particularly Senator Ted Cruz. They claim they are a neutral platform. Thomas says, I'm losing money on YouTube about $1.99 a day. Yes, but that's a good thing. And it's Anti-Jerker's fault for not being more famous. I'm trying to be more famous. I truly am. Enderman is here. It says, hey, am I late? Indeed you are, Enderman, but as always, it is really, really good to see you. You are, unfortunately, though, I think that Alexander is a little crazier than you. I'm going to check. Do we have that probe in Enderman's head still? Yeah, you're still crazy. Definitely still crazy, Enderman. But I think Alexander might be slightly crazier than you, which I know that sounds impossible, but wow, I would pay real money to see what happened if you locked Enderman of Doom and Alexander into a room and just record the conversation. That would be freaking awesome. Looks towards his own collection of VHS. Yeah, I need more space. Mr. Lundell says, from Popcast to Anti-Trekker. Well, welcome, Mr. Lundell, as always. Mr. Wolverine says, I am weird, thank you. No problem. There's nothing wrong with being weird around here. Enterprise has held up better than a lot of other Treks, in my opinion. I agree, Mr. Boz. I think Enterprise has held up. Honestly, watching this stuff now, I think Deep Space Nine has held up pretty well. I think TOS has held up pretty well. And I think Enterprise has held up pretty well. The rest of the Trek, not so much. Hated Enterprise, but after Discovery, I appreciate it a whole lot more. Enterprise grew on me as time went on. Yeah, it actually, it's funny because Enterprise is one of those shows that actually is better now than it was then in comparison to the other shows. Maybe Sassy is a triple agent and has been working for Google all along. Ooh, if that's true, Bird, you may have to have a talk with Sassy. Also, wasn't wanting or looking to get you into hot water with the political stuff, Andrew. That's all right, the Fed. I mean, it's inevitable at this point. Here's the problem, is that Google is trying to silence half the people in this country, or at least the people who are outspoken about these things. And I am not a right-winger. That's the thing. That's what drives me crazy about this. I am not a right-winger. But Google is constantly forcing me to defend the right because they are attacking the right and they're trying to stamp them out of existence. They're literally trying to fix the next election. That is scary. That's why I call them evil. And what happened to the don't be evil? That was their motto. Congo says, I'm watching Enterprise for the first time right now. I'm liking it a lot. Not as good as TOS, but it's fun. I agree. Not quite TOS level, but it is a fun show. I've actually, while I've been doing work around the house, I've been having Deep Space Nine on, and I forgot how good it really was, even in the early seasons. If I'm not mistaken, magnetic tape, whether VHS or cassette, has a certain lifespan. Well, the problem with magnetic tape is that it can be demagnetized. So, yeah, it's not going to last forever. And Raven is in the house, says, hi, Mark. I just wanted to say I love your channel. Well, you're my favorite, Raven. Will TNN host a Star Trek debate from each franchise at some point? Her Royal Majesty Burnham versus Captain Kirk would be very funny. That would be good. Man, that would be an awesome thing to do, would be to have a TNN Star Trek debate. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get the actual actors from Star Trek to participate. But what could be fun as we get into the political season would be to get some people who are passionate about which series is the best and have them debate. That I think that could actually be fun. Technocrats is still a dictator with fluffy bits. I didn't know that. Fed says the base tech anti-tracker, the bit chain stuff, the code that distributes the load across all the computers watching it, the stuff you see is substandard, admittedly. Yeah, but that's the thing. Is unless they can get the tech to where it needs to be, it's not going to be a viable replacement. Would AOC even a double-digit age when VHS was a thing? No. AOC is only like 28. So, yeah. Legion says, hey, Trey, please don't feel pressured, but there's a timeline on... is there a timeline on when the next installment of the Borg series? I don't have a firm timeline for you, Legion, and I appreciate... I know you care about those videos, and I do too. I've just been... I've been so busy trying to get some things done around this house, dealing with my back, and of course, worrying about whether Google is going to just wipe me off the face of the planet. I'm going to get to it, though, very soon, probably in the next week or two, because I owe it to you and others that have been waiting patiently for it. But I do have a couple of things I have to do first, including finish getting here ready for something big tomorrow that you'll find out about tomorrow. By the way, me and Mrs. Antrager tomorrow morning are going to go see the Avengers Endgame extended edition. Hopefully it'll be good. When the NX class was revealed, I hated it as an Akira knockoff. Now I like it as an homage to the World War II bombers it was. I actually, I didn't like it much, to be honest with you, but they kind of grew on me as well. I still don't like the color. I don't like that it's gold. But other than that, I like the design. D-Live is the streaming replacement, and Streamlabs replaces Super Chats. I got to learn about the Streamlabs things that you guys keep talking about. I got to learn about all this stuff because there's so much there. And that's the problem. It's like, yeah. At least records don't have any magnetic issues. That's true. I actually, and this is funny because I have sitting about 20 feet over there a box of records from the 1930s and 40s that I've never listened to because I don't have a turntable. They were left to me by an old man when he passed away. He left them to me. I'd only met him once in my life, but he just wanted to leave me his record collection. So I have these old records that I have no idea what they sound like. No, Borg, you already covered TNG. That's all that matters. We want Galaxy Quest. Bruce, Galaxy Quest is coming too. I'm about 3/4 of the way through part 3. I'm sorry it's been delayed because of some of the stuff I've had to do this week. But that will be out on Monday. Enderman says, no, my crazy is gone. I'm sorry, Enderman, you are still officially crazy. The EU is turning into a dystopian technocratic nightmare where anyone has where anyone to the right of Chairman Mao is seen as a bigoted far-right fascist. Yes. Unfortunately, Schromer, the EU is joined by Google, and Google is attempting to take over the planet. I missed that one. Enderman craziness. Yes, that was the day. Asian Borg. Hey, wait. Alexander's not here. DS9 held up best, in my opinion. I don't know. I think, here's the thing. I think DS9 does definitely hold up, but I think Enterprise holds up better. And honestly, I think TOS holds up the best because with TOS, yes, it's always looked cheesy in certain regards, but it's also always felt genuine and sincere. Where honestly, if you now Enterprise, I think did better than the other shows, but TNG and to a lesser extent DS9. They don't feel as sincere as TOS does, especially TNG with their self-righteous, preach the Federation gospel attitude that they have in so many episodes. Don't get me wrong. Again, I don't hate TNG. I think TNG has some of the best moments in all of Trek, but their self-righteous preaching the Federation gospel moments just really piss me off. Thanos with only Power Stone versus Godzilla from 2019. That's an interesting one, Enderman, because if you're talking from the movies and what we've seen of the Power Stone in the movies, Iron Man was able to hold off a full force attack from the Power Stone for a brief minute. Captain Marvel survived a full force Power Stone enhanced punch. Granted, she was taken out of the fight, but she survived it. And Thor's was able to overpower the Power Stone with the other 5 Infinity Stones with Stormbreaker. So taking all that into account, I think Godzilla wins. Actually, speaking of VHS, a movie review group, Red Letter Media, is apparently really big on VHS preservation. They've recorded several hundred tapes and saved on several digital drives. Well, I didn't know Red Letter Media was doing that, other than their VHS tapes of the torturous things that happen in the basement. AOC equals Victorian Baboon Woman. Oh, that's mean. And Red Letter Media also smashes and destroys a piece of media and on every best of the worst. Honestly, I like the Plinkett reviews on Red Letter Media, but other than that, I don't really care for their channel all that much. And don't get me wrong, nothing against them personally, it just doesn't work for me. Wesley says, entering Next Gen will always be my favorite, but that's because I grew up on that ship. I understand that, Wesley, but agree to disagree on that. And I don't begrudge anybody for liking TNG better. However, to me, it will always be TOS, but I grew up with that one. Mr. Miles says, Enterprise grew on me too. I didn't like it at first. I think it wasn't the continuation of Trek I wanted, the TNG, DS9, Voyager style of Trek, but years later I enjoyed it far more. Yeah, I think it actually holds up better than the TNG, DS9, Voyager era Trek. And Captain Cat says, I hated Generations because they destroyed the Enterprise D. Yeah, they should have destroyed the Enterprise D episode 2 of Next Generation. Mr. Alonzo says, you're not a right-winger, but most importantly, you're not a left-winger, and therein lies the rub with Google. Yeah, exactly. And that's, you're 100% right about that, and that is the scary thing, is that it's these same people would scream about George Bush's, if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists or whatever he said. But that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing a, if you're not with us, you're against us kind of philosophy. It was don't be evil, now it's resistance is futile. You know what? I would not be surprised if that was indeed their motto right now. They should bring Wesley Crusher back. Raven, believe it or not, I actually would agree with that. I wouldn't mind seeing a Wesley Crusher show set, 30 years after Next Gen, now Wesley is a mature adult and he could be the captain of a ship or something. And Will Wheaton, he could do it. I think that would be awesome. I still think of the Enterprise D as my home. Well, that's because you're Wesley. Shut up, Wesley. Enterprise has some really great episodes, especially season 4. Agreed. In a Mirror Darkly is, to me, a high point for Trek. I loved In a Mirror Darkly. Let's see. They buggered the series finale of DS9, I believe. I agree. The season finale of DS9 was a bit underwhelming, but not as bad as the season finale of Enterprise. That was the worst finale of all. Who here has faith of the heart? Kronos does, as does Kongu. I kind of like the one that introduced Tom Paris lookalike. I love the one that introduced the Tom Paris lookalike. You talking about from TNG, the First Duty, I think it was? I know what VHS tape is, Ad Trekker. Okay, Admiral. AOC's last diaper is still wet. That's a interesting way to put it, Ramona, but yes, that's true. Mr. Miles says, when are you going to continue SG-1? That's another thing I got to get to, man. I really do. I got so much on my plate, Mr. Miles, and we're going to, you know what? We're going to talk about that. I think you and I need to have a conversation this weekend about how we want to move forward, because I know, doing the articles is fun, but I'm going to start recording SG-1 stuff for you to edit, if you're good with that. Fed says, while I do consider myself a good capitalist, what happened with Google is just the usual ebb and flow of the natural flow of the system. It will be broken up and regulated inevitably. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because Google is very quickly becoming not only a monopoly, but an incredibly dangerous one, because they are controlling the information that we all see. And that needs to be stopped. It will become, and it doesn't matter, even if you are a far left progressive, it is the tyranny of one party system. If Google controls all the information, then Google runs the world. And that is dangerous. And, and the thing is that the fact that people like Elizabeth Warren are coming out about it, that should be a telltale sign that Google is in serious trouble. And so I'm confident that Google will get broken up. And let's see. Antrick, you don't need that sex change tomorrow. That's not what it is, Thomas. probably. Editor, it does upset me when I go but if I did do a sex change tomorrow, then Google could no longer suppress my channel because then it would be hate speech. Maybe I should start wearing dresses. Editor, it does upset me that when I go to my YouTube homepage, I see a lot of Steve Shives vids I've seen before and have to look for your new stuff, which I prefer to watch. Yeah, and that's the thing that they're doing, Deering, is that Steve is on the nice list and I'm on the naughty list, so you won't see me in their suggestions. And that it's absolutely insulting what they're doing. And in fact, here's the funny thing. So I was watching a video of Ted Cruz grilling the Google executive, and I was stepped away from my desk for a moment when the video came to the end, and of course, the autoplay continues. What's the next video? A CNN video about how great AOC is. What? And so then I figured, let me try something else. So I put on a video from the quartering, I think it was the quartering, about the Veritas video scandal, and the fact that Google censored it. Autoplay kicks up, CNN video, about, I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was another one that basically spun Democrats in a positive light. And it's like, wow, they really are trying to change people's thinking. It's absolutely scary. I hated the intro to Star Trek Enterprise, but in the episodes like Mirror Darkly, that different intro was good. Yes, and it is too bad. That intro was the worst part of that show. I'll take those records off your hands, Andy Checker. I'm one of those guys seriously into vinyl. You are not going to get those records because those records are almost 100 years old, and I want to listen to them. I am going to eventually get a nice turntable so that I can listen to them. Who knows? Maybe I'll listen to one of them live on the show, just so we can hear it. DS9 are the best battle scenes of all the shows. Disagree, Core. And here's the thing: I didn't like the fact that they turned Miranda-class starships into frickin' Vipers. All right, I don't like that. The ships were too fast, too maneuverable. They needed to move the way they moved in Star Trek II. That's how a starship battle should be. I didn't like the fact that they were zooming around like they were jet planes. It's because Steve Shives posts anti-Christian stuff as well as far liberal material, so he's going to be pushed. Yes, absolutely. And so people like Steve Shives will sit there and say, all these crazy people talking about the YouTube algorithm. I don't know what they're talking about. They're crazy. YouTube's totally fair. Look at my channel. I'm doing great, right? Proving the point. Valor says, and don't get me wrong, I don't hate Steve Shives, but he lives in the liberal bubble, and so the fact that he's on the he's on the good side of Google means that he's not going to feel it. I can't help but feel Enterprise was boring and found myself skipping over half the series. Well, Valor, the problem is this Enterprise, the first 2 seasons were much weaker. James Pace says, Anti-Trekker might be having subdermal ridges put in tomorrow so he can be full Kling orc. Yeah, I might do that so that I can say I identify as Klingon and then they can't discriminate against me. Can I get you, let's see, Colonel says, can I get that you like the original Enterprise? Oh, wait. I can get that you like the original Enterprise, Anti-Trekker. However, I like the shape of the E and that it can kick Borg as. I like the shape of the, I think that the E is the best looking later era starship. I think it's a great looking ship. It's funny because I look at it right now and I'm actually looking at a big wall of green, but so I'm just pretending to look at it. But yeah, it's a nice looking ship. But the original Connie, to me, will always be the best ship. Captain Marvel in the comic books had only one role, to be a battery to super power Rogue. Yes, I agree, Core. But actually, that wasn't even Captain Marvel. That was Miss Marvel. I really would like to see a Trek series set during the Earth-Romulan War, keeping with canon. They never saw each other face to face. I wouldn't mind that, Stromer, but the problem is that Enterprise kind of screwed that piece of canon. Which MCU villain could take on Thanos? Dr. Doom would be an excellent candidate. Admiral Saval says, Me Too. I assume you're not talking about the Me Too movement. But you're saying you would also like to see a show about the Earth-Romulan war. Mr. Miles says, Andrew, would you ask for a refund for the extended version of Endgame? Turns out to be just the extra Captain Marvel scenes. No, I won't ask for a refund because I want Endgame to beat out Avatar. VHS tapes survived long enough to put Buck Rogers on trial. Okay. And let's see. Legion says, you're right, Anti-Tricker. Trump does suck. What an awful president. Yeah, guys. Trump is... Orange Man, bad. He's bad. Trump is horrible. Core says, TOS followed by DS9. If that's your order preference, I would agree with you. Troy destroyed the Enterprise E. Well, Troy also is trying to destroy Star Trek at this point, since, remember, Republicans aren't allowed to be Star Trek fans anymore, according to Marina. Which, I'm sorry. Again, I am not a frickin' Republican. But when actors say crap like that, what are you trying to do, Marina? Are you seriously trying to destroy what's left of Star Trek? By literally alienating half the fan base. What if Thanos bargained with Dumbledore in order to save Darth Vader from being assimilated by the Cylons, who are from Mordor? Enderman, that is a weird sentence. And if you're not SJW, then you're on Google's target, yeah. RMP says, Trump does not suck. He has people to do that for him. Oh, man. Episode 2 of the show. Not sure what you're talking about there, Captain Cat. I know I'm behind in the chat, but no idea what you're talking about. Let me, again, I'm going to do a little bit just reading the ones that are addressed to me so I can get caught up. Mr. Miles, at this point, Will Wheaton would have better luck asking for a job on CBS's crew than for the, for the sets. Probably right. DS9, What We Leave Behind was a horrible Star Trek series finale. I have not seen it yet. Actually, I know that Bird of Prey really liked it, so yeah. Anti-Trucker in drag, unsub. Okay, well then I guess I won't be in drag. Anti-Trucker, ask Bird of Prey. He knows sundresses. That's true. Bird of Prey is an expert on sundresses. I know he's probably gone to bed by now, but you know, next time we talk to him, we'll have to make sure. Yeah, Bird of Prey, can you order me a nice sundress? It'd be flattering for me. I've been indoctrinated, so I get the mainstream flow of stuff and such. Oh, okay. Well, congratulations on your indoctrination. Enter the episode 200 of SG1 is where they did the parodies over sci-fi shows and spoke about the nerd community in glowing terms. Is for me everything great about that show. Yeah, I really liked the 200th episode. That's where they did Wormhole Extreme. That was fun. RMP, you know, I'm not American, and I think he's a good politician. I may not agree with all his decisions, but he's doing the best he can to save you from the Chinese. I happen to agree with him. Well, RMP, I'm not opposed to Trump. I'm not a fan of Trump either. I voted for the Libertarian. However, I think that there's a problem with all the Trump hate out there is not deserved. The Fed Doc says, Anti-Trekker, if you ask me, after you're done with SG1, you should try your hands at Farscape. 'Tis a fine show. I have a tough time with Farscape because of the Muppets, but I will try it. Pentacle is in the house, says, we control the horizontal. We control the vertical. We control what you see. We are Google. That is so true. I am going to, that's it. I'm going to do something with that. Oh, man. Let's see. RMP, but do you like Anti-Trekker? Because if you do, we should all be talking about how bad Trump is. Yeah, exactly. Keep talking about how bad Trump is so that Google will not block me anymore. So, Andrew, so you were being, let's see. Were you being sarcastic on your video earlier today? About what specifically, Kronos? I didn't like how DS9 reused battle scenes. I didn't care for that either, but I understand it's necessary. They did it in the original series. I mean, you know, they only had like 10 shots of the Enterprise for the entire run of the original series. But the special edition, or the remastered, you know, they did more with it. Hit that like button. Thank you, Captain Cat. DS9 final episodes, I believe, were set up to leave the possibility of series of films, what happened to Cisco, etc. Yeah, but obviously there was not enough enthusiasm. The problem with Deep Space Nine, and Mrs. Antrekker and I were actually talking about this, she thought Deep Space Nine is okay, but it's not Star Trek. She liked Deep Space Nine, but it didn't feel like Star Trek to her. Your imitation of Shies is actually spot on. It's eerie. Oh, man, that's funny. You should start a petition for Season 5 of Enterprise. Well, I don't think that's going to happen either. Honestly, I think that what we need is for CBS to just stop trying to bank on, first of all, we know Discovery was a train wreck, okay? So just leave it alone, put it behind us, we'll recover. The Picard show, I'll give it a chance, but quite frankly, it doesn't look like it's going to amount to much. But so they really just need to do a sequel series with a new ship, new crew, and why screw with stuff that ain't broken? But yeah, I'm a minority here for a Trek fan. Voyager's my favorite. I grew up with it. I remember wanting the new episodes on Wednesday. It's one of those things I do with my mom every week until its end, so I have bias. We all do that, though, Mr. Miles, and that's perfectly reasonable for us to prefer whatever it is that we remember growing up with. They basically made Cisco a frigging deity to the Bajorans. Yes, they did. If they're 78s, good luck finding a turntable. Yeah, I'm going to have to shop around. I think some of them are 78s. I think Google has given up on me as an irredeemable right wing. I get suggestions for you, Doomcock, Bird, Sargon, V, Computing Forever, Steven Crowder, Owen Benjamin. That's funny. Are you still getting suggestions for me? Because most people are not. Up until STD, all the Star Trek series had something to offer. The good old days. That's true. That is true. Again, I don't agree with everything he says, but yeah, I like watching him on YouTube, and Star Trek concerns, he rocks. You talking about Steve, or are you talking about something else? NCC 1701A first, NCC 1701E second. I say NCC 1701 first, A second, E third. You always remember your first starship. Yes, that's true. Yeah, DS9 did reuse battle scenes and the most prominent wartime, and at the most prominent war times. Yeah, that's true, which was annoying. I don't get CNN videos. Yeah, my favorite ship we never got to see, the NX-01 refit. Fell in love with the design the moment I saw it. Yes. The NX-01 refit is actually a very cool idea, and unfortunately, yeah, we never actually got to see it on screen, which is a shame because I would love to have seen that one. Fed says, I would ask, why do you like the Connie? I like it myself, and it wouldn't be the Enterprise E, but rather contrary in design. And wouldn't the Enterprise E be rather contrary in design? Well, the Connie is an almost perfectly balanced ship as far as you look at the proportions of the saucer, the secondary hull to the warp engines, the spacing of the warp engines, everything like that was absolutely perfect. And there's actually, I think it's E.C. Henry did a video on why the design of the Connie was perfect. And you should check it out because there's a lot about the design, the mathematics of the design, and the geometry of the design that make it so pleasing to the eye. And it establishes the Star Trek design that, of course, continued on. The problem is that they kept, producers keep thinking, oh, we got to make it bigger and better and bigger and better and bigger and better. And by the time we get to the E, while the E is a nice looking ship, it's too damn big, too damn powerful. So yeah. Now let's see. I got lost a little bit here, so sorry. Just going to the ones that are addressed to me. Let's see. Just answer that one. If Thanos didn't know about the Star Trek ship, could they use the transporter to scramble him across space? Yes, they could. Transporter, if you beam someone, and in fact, they showed it in Day of the Dove, you could basically beam somebody up and leave them in the computer forever. They also showed that in Relics from the Next Generation. Remember to throw in 10 or more woke SJW lines per live streams. That's true. Down with the patriarchy. How's that? Yesterday, Bird's Amazon showed high heels. Of course it did. Antracker saw the 100, not 2. Oh, was it the one? I'm sorry, I got them mixed up. Thank you, Mr. Miles, for keeping me straight on that. Enderman says there's 6 total sci-fi fantasy universes in there. Yeah, that was an impressive line. I will give you that. If we can get 70 lights, I will do another super chat. Well, then, dang it, we need 70 lights because I need the money. Come on, guys. Help me out here. You guys know how it is. Or it's 62 right now. So I think we can hit that 70 mark. And I think Mrs. Anti-Trekker wants you to hit that 70 mark, don't you?
Hit that like button.
And again, I know I say this a lot, and I'm going to have to say this a lot for the foreseeable future. Please don't forget that if you like the content on this channel, if you want it to continue, I'm not asking you to all support me on Patreon or antitrekker.com. If you can, that's awesome, but I understand most of you can't do that. That's just not realism. But please share this channel, share the videos with your friends that might be interested in it, because right now Google refuses to suggest this channel to people who are not already subscribers. So please share it with your friends so that we can actually grow, because if we don't grow, then Mr. Miles will starve to death on the streets, and we don't want that. And so, yes, the 6 franchises in that were Marvel, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, and Lord of the Rings. So I figured as much, yes. Language, Admiral, effing coward who wouldn't even, what? What are you talking about? Trump is a moron, and a coward. Okay, well, you're saying, thank you, Admiral. Yes, Trump is a moron and a coward who didn't serve in the Vietnam War. Yes. Mr. Londell says, DS9 not Star Trek heresy. Well, no, she said she's not saying it's not Star Trek. She said it doesn't feel like Star Trek, and it's not the grittiness of it. She was like, it doesn't take place on a starship. It doesn't feel like Star Trek, and that is something unique to Deep Space Nine. Here's a thought: why doesn't CBS just sell Star Trek to someone else? Figure you'd have plenty of companies wanting to have that assured cash cow. Well, the reason is because CBS knows it's a cash cow, but they just don't know how to take advantage of it. And that's where CBS, rather than hiring this guy with no freaking experience, and except for a freaking short trek that was god-awful, and bringing him in to run the Picard show, how about you get someone that actually cares about Trek? Alexander, the crazier person than Enderman, is here. Says, I'm here. Just watched Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and it was incredible. MCU Aunt May should be naked when she throws a banana? Bernie 2020, feel the burn. All right, Alexander, good to see you. They clearly don't want what Trek is, and they want something more wars. So why not do a Lucas and sell it to someone smaller who wants the cash? Because there's no way, if you own Star Trek, you don't get rid of that. Star Trek is a national treasure, and CBS knows it. CBS would only hold on to it until it can't be profitable, or until they go bankrupt and they just need to sell it. Schromer says, yes, I still get suggestions for you. You regularly turn up on the list. That's weird, Schromer. You must be you must be a crazy right-winger or something then in YouTube's eyes. Thomas says, earlier this week there was a Trump ad on my YouTube screen. I was shocked. Wow, an actual Trump ad? Crazy. Now, what's that? Now, that's just Mr. Miles, I am not going to show that picture, because showing that picture could be deemed as a violation of terms of service, especially since you and I have gone over them recently. You know what I'm talking about. But I like what you're saying, but I can't show that. Let's see. Earlier this, I already read that. I'm going to put an ice cream cone under your avatar for the next video. I wonder if that'll affect anything with the analytics. I don't think it's the avatar, because that avatar has been part of this channel from day one. If the avatar was the problem, we never would have grown this much. We've just seen through on Anti-Trekker's screen, so the NX1 refit is now canon, so say we all. Okay. Remember to hit that like button. Yes, we're up to 66 likes. We just need 4 more, and Captain Cat will do another super chat. So please help out Captain Cat in helping out me. Right? That what I'm saying? I played a lot of Star Trek Online, and even though 1701 is my favorite, at that point, I fell in love with the Defiant class, closely followed by Akira, and then Constitution. Well, you know, the thing is, in the game, of course, the original Connie is a very weak ship. I mean, it's an entry-level ship, so, you know. The E was too big? What about the crazy scale of the JJ universe? I don't like that either, Wesley. I think the JJ Enterprise is an abomination. I'm sorry. While I actually liked Star Trek 2009, and I actually enjoyed Star Trek Into Darkness, but I cannot stand the design aesthetic of the JJ universe. I absolutely find it offensive. Alexander says, all of you, my friends, feel the burn. I hope all of you, the MCU, I hope to all of you, MCU Aunt May naked. Everyone wants. Alexander, you nut. Oh, man. Enterprise E versus BC 303. How many BC 303s would it take to bring down the Enterprise E? Good question. I think that the BC 303 would be completely and utterly outmatched by the Enterprise E, from what little I've seen. But ask me again, Sci-Fi Sith, after I've watched all of Stargate, because who knows? NCC 1701, 1701E, Defiant, Stargazer, Excelsior, Miranda is all canon list. My favorite no canon class is the Abbey class PT Destroyer. I don't know that one off the top of my head. Hey, what about the Doctor Who universe? Oh, well, he didn't include it, that's all. Google means bad. Yes. Dr. SJW? Okay. Not sure what you mean there. Who is the nurse? Says Kronos. What? No, I'm talking about Nurse Who. Oh, I'm not talking Nurse Who. Yeah, Doctor Who, not Nurse Who. God, that's weird. By definition, DS9 is not a Trek, so clearly it's different than all the other series. Yes, but it's still called Star Trek. But it shouldn't be called Star Trek. It should be called Starbase. RMP throws $5 into the 5 euros into the chat. Thank you so much. Says, hey, Trigger, let me ask you this. Where are you? Are you in the basement like a good Star Trek fan, or in the attic like a good Star Wars fan? Well, RMP, the honest truth is right now I am in an attic. But I am more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan. However, if it counts, I did for a period of a few years rent my my wife's stepfather's basement before we were married. I actually rented out his basement and lived there for a while. So I've lived in both, but this room is it's actually technically, I guess it's upstairs, so I guess you could call it an attic, but it's finished and everything. Paramount Pictures can buy Star Trek back from CBS. Yeah, but CBS doesn't want to sell it. What is Banula? Not sure, Kronos. What is Banula? Tom says, strange Dems loved Democrat draft dodgers back then. Well, yeah, because, dodging the draft is patriotic. Josh says there's a tier 6 Connie. Oh, I didn't know that. They must have added that after I kind of gave up playing. I'll have to try it again sometime. The Avatar might be more of a problem with the new algorithms. I don't know, Miles. Honestly, I don't think that the Avatar, because here's the thing. Right now, if you go to the emoji section in the chat, is my avatar. So they're going to say something that they themselves offer you would be offensive, in which case every time you open up the emoji section in the chat, that's hate speech. So I kind of doubt it's the poop emoji. If I get a Trump ad, I would be very surprised. But and I knew some people have said that it's because my name is anti. That's a negative term. But I don't know. The problem I have with that is, and granted, I know I'm basing this on Google telling the truth here, but they did say repeatedly through all of this that their policies haven't changed. They're just trying to clarify what those policies are. and they're trying to clamp down on hate speech specifically. The turd emoji could not in any way, shape, or form be construed as hate speech. Hector said, Enter, if I get a Trump ad, I would be very surprised, but since I was being suggested Bollywood Indian movies in a Brazilian supermarket, I wouldn't be so weird after all that. Well, you know, that is interesting. SG-1 Earth Starship versus the Enterprise. Isn't that the BC-303? I thought that's the same thing we just talked about. And then Josh says, going to be bored out of mind at a fireworks stand with no internet. Have a good night. All right, Josh, you're working at a fireworks stand. That is a tough road to hoe. Have a good night, my friend. Life with Matthew says, Star Trek 2009 lost me when there was no consistent time travel between places. Into Darkness was even worse with it. Well, yeah, that it does have its problems. I'm not going to lie. Mr. Miles, enter. Why do you have a purple Stargate Command icon behind you? I've been waiting for you to ask about that, Mr. Miles. That, my friend, in the very near future is going to be sent out to you. What is the reason for the drastic size difference for the JJ Enterprise? Because they wanted to make it look different for a multitude of reasons. One, they want to establish that this is a new and different universe. And also that they wanted to make sure, you know, it makes it so they can market toys and stuff and sell them for a profit. If it looked exactly like the original Connie, then there wouldn't be any new toys to sell. However, in doing so, they screwed up. And remember, I was talking about the video, I think, from E.C. Henry about the geometry of why the Connie is so perfect. Well, they ruin it in JJ. They changed the proportions so that it ruins that perfect symmetry. And one of them is the fact that they squish in the warp nacelles and then they make the warp nacelles way bigger. They ruin the position and the scale of the warp nacelles, and it completely throws off the ship, makes it look ugly. A Trek work bee could display a fleet of SG ships. I don't know if I would go that far. Well, unless it was the worker bees from Discovery, which, of course, are also super badass fighters. Alexander says, Trigger, I'm in the TV spot for Spider-Man Far From Home, MCU Aunt May, and then everyone wants to see naked, throws a banana to Peter. Oh, that's why you said throws a banana. Well, I still don't understand why you think everyone wants to see her naked. Because not everyone does. Sorry. Is it just me or does the 1701 look more advanced than all the other hero ships? Long live the D. Okay. No, I don't think the 1701 looks more advanced than all other hero ships, but I do love it. The movie should be named MCU Aunt May in My Home. You're just wrong. I would love to see blazing saddles made today. Huh. Yeah, Chris, that's going to happen. Sorry. Never going to happen. By the way, we're at 68 likes. Captain Cat just needs 2 more likes, and he's going to throw in a super chat. So come on, guys. You know, help me get bribed. So we can do it. We can get 2 more likes. I know we can get 2 frickin' likes. Let's see. Go down to. Did you like Disco Prize? As a design, Admiral, I actually think that the Disco Prize was not bad looking, except the one thing I really didn't like about it, as far as the design overall, was the cutouts in the warp pylons. I thought that was stupid. However, overall, I like the design, but I don't like that this is a retcon of what the original 1701 supposedly looks like. But if they were trying, like if you were going from, let's say, the original series to the motion picture, and then you were doing a Enterprise B series, but you didn't have Excelsior, I would be okay with that design. So, honestly, I think that would make a good second refit. Thomas says, your avatar has glasses, that must be why. But you wouldn't hit a man with glasses. Well, Google apparently would. And Wesley says, me poo. Thank you so much, Wesley. I do appreciate it. Hate speech is subjective, yes. And according to Google's subjective algorithm, apparently I'm hate speech. Or, well, actually, I'm not hate speech because my channel hasn't been demonetized. But I'm borderline hate speech because I've obviously been deplatformed. Checker, your editor. Check Discord for a pic of the Abby class. All right, let me go there real quick here. And that's from Trek Reviewer. Did you send it in a direct message or did you put it in general? Because I don't see a direct message. Is it... I see a couple of pictures from Admiral Trek Gamer, so I don't know, is this it? In which case, it's not a bad-looking class. It kind of looks like a torpedo boat based on an interpretation of the Miranda class. Oh, that's funny. So somebody put in here a little thing for a Star Trek mug. So check out that mug, guys. What an awesome mug, right? Awesome, awesome mug. Just saying. All right, so DJ's lucky number 60. Market Toys. Great job, Steve. Yes, yes. When is Part 3 Galaxy Quest review coming out? I said it a few minutes ago, Max. It will be out on Monday. I wanted to get it out this week. However, unfortunately, I had some stuff come up that was that didn't allow. Allow me to get it finished. BC 303 is at the end of the at the end with the Asgard core. And where I just lost it. With the Asgard one-shot ships that can actually take on gods. Well, I haven't seen it yet, Tentacle, so yeah. You're going to love the BC 304's class design. Oh, well, I'll look forward to it. And it looks like we hit that 70 likes, so Captain Cat throws a $10 super chat in. Thank you so much. Legion says, I want to see all the women naked, so I don't know what you're talking about, Anti-Trekker. Well, I'm just, yeah, but you want to see all women naked, not just Aunt May, right? Okay. So here you go, my friend. Play what you want. Well, let's see. We'll go, since it's $10, we'll go to the Mega Chat section. There are 5 Mega Chats. So I'm going to let you guys pick. So first person, put in a number 1 through 5. First one gets it. Don't care what it is. Dun, 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 dun. 4 from DJ Odyssey.
I may have a It's not clean. Repeat, I do not have a clean Take the bloody
Yes. Now that is what we call a palate cleanser. Whew. All right, so Mr. Miles says any Enterprise would beat the BC-303. However, it would take TNG eras to beat the 304. And if the 304 had a certain ancient power source, there's nothing in Trek that would beat it. I will take your word for that, Mr. Mouse, because I know you know your Stargate inside and out. So I will, in fact, take your word on that one. Meanwhile, Sci-Fi Sis says, check Discord, I sent you something. And so, did you get that thing I sent you? So I'm assuming, is this the 304 right here? Don't give me any spoilers as far as storyline stuff, but I'm assuming this is the 304 because it does have that kind of look and feel to it. If so, it's not a bad looking ship, really. It looks very hardcore, realistic type thing, you know, as opposed to going style. But yeah. Let's see. How many Star Wars ships would it take to be a threat to the Enterprise? That's an interesting question. Assuming for a moment that turbo lasers or whatever, you know, I know people will argue, it's not just turbo lasers, it's proton torpedo, whatever. If we want to assume that the relative strength of the weapons is at least on par with Federation weaponry, meaning that the weapons could eventually penetrate the shields and take out the ship. Then the problem becomes the range limit, right? The fact that the Enterprise has even the Connie class Enterprise has a range of at least 100,000 kilometers compared to about 15 kilometers for most of your Star Wars vessels. So the 100,000 to 15, that's a massive, massive difference. And that's the reason that I would give it to a Federation ship in any one-on-one battle. Now, from what we've seen of fighters, I think the phasers and torpedoes would cut right through fighters without too much difficulty. It's going to be the capital ships that would, if anything, would pose a threat. And really the only tactic that could work would be to try and get in close using hyperdrive and then hitting it with a huge barrage. So I would say if you had, say, 3 Star Destroyers coordinate an attack where they hyperdrived in and a close formation surrounding a Connie and just hitting it with everything all at once, that could do it. But you would have to have a perfectly coordinated attack, and you would have to get your attack off before the reaction of the Connie and it warps away from the position. And keep in mind that unlike hyperdrives, warp drive does not require massive amounts of calculating ahead of time. You can just say, Sulu, go to warp 5, and he does it, as opposed to calculate a warp jump. So that means you basically have to hyper jump into it and have your weapons to bear instantaneously, which I don't know if that's even possible. But I would say 3-on-1 capital ships, if they surrounded, would be enough to overpower the Enterprise pretty easily. But yeah, it might be this super chat that got you demonetized. No, Max, because I played that super chat many times before and not gotten demonetized. Anti-Trekker isn't the problem. Anti-Trekker is just what we need at the right time over a bull. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Not sure what you mean there. And Mr. Miles says, yes, that's the 304. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it. It's a nice looking ship. Alexander throws 2 of his fake Canadian dollars in, says, MCU, Aunt May naked, throwing bananas in Endgame. Alexander, you are insane. I just got to say. Battlestar versus a Star Destroyer, says Chief Cook. Now, that's a totally different fight. Because Battlestars basically are at every conceivable disadvantage against a Star Destroyer, because Battlestars use primitive weaponry compared to a Star Destroyer. Now, they may have a range advantage as far as, like, their nukes. Their nukes would probably have a range substantially longer than the turbo lasers. But Battlestars are strictly sublight speed, except for when they do a jump. But a jump requires massive amounts of calculation, so you cannot jump away on a dime. That's not even possible. So when you're engaged in battle, you have to complete the battle. And we've seen, and the jump drive is notorious for going offline during battle anyway. So I don't think there would even be a prayer for the Battlestar. The only way the Battlestar wins, quite frankly, is if they manage to get a nuke off hit the Star Destroyer with it, and bypass the shields somehow. Now, we know that Star Wars shields are a funny thing, and people will argue about whether the shields even stop physical objects or not. If they don't stop physical objects and your nuke detonates on impact, then I think that a nuke has a chance. However, barring that, because assuming that the Star Destroyer is going to have some point defense, and your TIE fighters are going to act as a point defense as well, it's going to be hard to get a nuclear missile through. So I just don't see it realistically going to the Battlestar. Mike Wong of StarDestroyer.net would disagree with you, but he's using technical manual information that may have just been invalidated by The Last Jedi. Yeah, that's the problem, Max. A lot of that information from technical manuals and stuff that is supposedly canon is directly contradicted by what we see on screen. And I know that it bothers the hell out of some people, but if you have a contradiction between what is on screen and what is and what a technical manual says, I go with what's on screen. Sorry. Mike, let's see. I'm all for MCU maybe in a bikini or maybe a nice one piece, but not naked. But then I'm not. I'm into cougars. You can have her. Not my type. Chronocentric. So what happened to those that jumped into that mountain in BSG? Good question. They're dead, I'm pretty sure. Original Battlestar versus reboot Battlestar. Based on what we see in the shows, the original Battlestar had superior tech. They actually used energy-based weapons, while the reboot Battlestar used bullets. What does the shirt say, Darren? It says, please cancel my subscription to your issues. And no, it wasn't. The Prometheus was actually an X-303, the prototype of the BC-303. Oh, okay. Well, I get those confused. So, forgive me. Let's see. That was rough to think about. As far as that jump into the mountain, yeah. Those people, but at least you could say this: they did not suffer. That death was instantaneous. So, not the worst way to go. I only trust Franz Joseph. Okay, Tiki. I don't know who that is. I think I know too much about Stargate. Yeah, you're like Mr. Miles with Stargate. You're like me with TOS. Still live, just leaving work. Yeah, I'm going to be wrapping up in just a couple of minutes here, but I wanted to hang out with you guys because you guys are awesome, and I'm a greedy bastard. I'm so glad that MCU Aunt May is not your type. I was so afraid you were going to steal her away from me. Sorry, no, Darren, you don't have to worry. You can have her. Well, you might have to fight Alexander for her. But as far as I'm concerned, she's all yours. Cohort prefers the original Battlestar. I like the design of the original Battlestar better, but I'm just saying. But if you're gonna, but the original Battlestar, the tech is definitely portrayed as being more advanced. So yes, Lauren Green's BSG, and I assume you mean you love it. I'm not sure. What did Google do to you now? Well, they are actively suppressing this channel, which means that if you're not already a subscriber, you're not going to get suggestions to view this channel. So I've been asking people, and I know it's annoying as all hell, but to tell your friends about this channel so we can continue to grow. But yeah. BSG Pegasus versus Star Destroyer. It's not going to matter, Chief. Same issues. The tech level on BSG is just not advanced enough to take on an Imperial Star Destroyer. It's not going to happen. Are you having issues? No, you're having issues, and I want to cancel my subscription to your issues. Right? That's it. Star Destroyers suck. Now, Captain, I don't think the Star Destroyers necessarily suck, but yeah, I just don't think that they have a prayer against a Federation starship. What's your favorite alien ship design? Klingon D7. I love the Klingon D7. Always have. Just finished watching SG-1 and rewatching Atlantis. I've not seen any Atlantis yet. I'm still in Season 7 of SG-1. Good to see YouTube version of Hans Gruber is still streaming by Grepthaw's Hammer. Franz Joseph was the guy who wrote the Starfleet Technical Manual. Oh, okay. Got that right up there. I don't know if you can see it, but right next to that TARDIS, right here, that's the Starfleet. That's a first printing of the. Bam! Can't. There we go. Right there is the first printing of the Starfleet Technical Manual. Several times. Okay. You're right there, 304s. Says Cinnabon. Are you still going to do a black hole review? Eventually, yes. I have a lot to do, but yeah. That's too much to do. With that said, guys, I am going to actually wrap it up here because I got to get some rest. My back is killing me. But thank you all for hanging out with me as always. Don't forget to spread the word on the channel so we can continue to grow, because we don't want Mr. Miles to starve to death. We truly, truly don't. Well, no, we don't. And Chief Cook throws, I'm sorry I don't have my eye. I've got something better prepared. I need to get that done. But wants to see the spinning Spock. You got it, Chief. Thank you so much, my friend. And let me bring that bad boy up for you. Ah, yes, the classic. And Alexander throws 5 fake Canadian bucks in there and says the Empire needs a distraction against the Enterprise. A hologram of MCU Aunt May naked will be enough to bring the Enterprise crew down. I kind of doubt that, but only you would think of that, huh? And let me see, I don't know. Nope, that's not it. I'm gonna cheat for you. There we are.
Board vessels moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. Drink a fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a dream, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
There you go, Alexander. I know that's what you want. That's all that you ever... Well, now you want Aunt May naked, but sorry, I can't do that without violating YouTube's terms of service. And Bruce says, good stream, 5 figurines complete. Not sure what that means, Bruce, but thank you. Max says, contemplate how Enterprise would handle an orc ship from Warhammer 40k. Can't really contemplate that because I don't know jack about Warhammer. You just don't know that dang numbers anymore. Grr. Well, you know, BIRDOPREY compiled that list on antitracker.com. So if you just remember your favorites, you'll know what to do. Captain Cat says, yep, Anti-Tracker can be bribed. 100% true. I can be bribed. Thomas wants me to check Discord. Of course he does. What do you got this time, Thomas? Let's see. What is this? Cancel my subscription to your issue. Now, Captain, I don't think the Star Destroyers necessarily suck. Yeah, you know, I just don't think that they have a prayer against a Federation starship. What's your favorite alien ship design? I'm not sure what the point of that was. Subscription to your issue. Now, Captain, I don't think the Star Destroyers. Just. I don't get it. What am I missing there? All right, so where's Captain Batman? I don't know. I haven't seen him in a little while. Hopefully he's all right. Miss him, but he pops in every now and then. Sci-Fi Sith wants me to check Discord. All right, let me. All right, Sci-Fi Sith. What did you send? Hey, you see, here's the thing. If you're gonna tell me to check Discord, you need to send it to me in a direct message because I can't stand trying to search for something in the general chat because I don't know what you sent. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything there. I don't see anything, Sci-Fi Sith. Let's see. Did you check Discord on the photo? Let me see. Maybe did it mess up? Let me go back here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I did. I showed that picture. You missed it. I showed the. Yeah, that's. Sorry. Yeah, this one. I showed this earlier, and we talked about it. I actually like the design, and so yes. Sorry, got a little confused there. Alexander says, we want a mega chat about the Final Frontier showing that it's a masterpiece. Okay. Tom says, you were glitching. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, I was glitching. That is weird. I was like, did you do that on purpose? But maybe it must be Google trying to shut me down. Captain Batman got married. Is that what it is? That's... I kind of figured he was already married, but okay. Better learn Spanish, amigo. Democrats. Yes, time for me to start learning Spanish. Never saw The Wrestler. Worth watching? Wrestler's not a bad movie, but if you're looking for... I don't know. I mean, it's all right. I wouldn't... I mean, if you're watching it on Netflix, I wouldn't turn it off. I like your channel except the church stuff. Well, Alexander, you don't have to watch on Sunday. And if you don't like the church stuff, that's perfectly fine. It's not for everybody. I heard no such glitching until you played that. Yeah, me neither. So, must be on your side, Thomas, as far as, maybe, you know, I don't know who your cell phone's with, but maybe you're not getting enough data, you know, or something. All right, guys. So, once again, I'm going to try to wrap it up. Thank you again for your support. I truly do appreciate it. Every single one of you. You're awesome. He posted a video about him getting... Oh, okay, very cool. I didn't know that. I very rarely get to watch other people's videos, so very cool. Captain Batman, if you ever see this, congratulations. I hope that your marriage lasts for a long time. Mr. Miles likes the channel, except that I hate First Contact. Yeah, remember what I said? We want to feed Mr. Miles? I think we can take that back. I have got something better. Admiral, thank you so much. I do appreciate the $1.99, my friend. So, of course, you can pick a super chat. So throw it at me, my friend, and I will play it for you. Let's see. Enter, look long, prosperity, the force be with you. Oh, and by the way, 5432. Well, you're right on the money this time, Sci-Fi. Thomas says, Bernie Sanders was asked about raising taxes on the middle class. He said yes. Well, of course, Bernie Sanders is a socialist. He wants to raise taxes on everybody. The difference between Bernie Sanders and the majority of the elected Democrats, I'm not talking about your typical rank and file Democrats that are voters, but the difference between Bernie Sanders and most of your elected Democrats is that he's willing to admit it. Captain Cat says, I don't care for First Contact either. Well, here's the thing. I didn't hate First Contact. I know some people think I do because I was rough on it in my review. Oh, Mrs. Anti-Trigger's here. Hey, babe, how you doing? I know a lot of people think that I hate First Contact. I really don't. You can ask Mrs. Anti-Trigger. I didn't hate the movie. However, it's not a flawless film, not by any stretch. They butcher the character of Jean-Luc Picard. They create the Borg Queen, which actually ruins the best villain that Star Trek has ever conceived of. So, yeah, it has its problems. It really has its problems. In the meantime, of course, Admiral wants the day Disco died, and Kronos throws some money into PayPal. Thank you so much, my friend. And you let me know what you want, Kronos, and I'll play that after we see Disco die. Such a classic. Thank you so much. And so, Kronos, since you, so tell me what you want, my friend, and I will put it up on the screen for you. How has Read My Last Comment held? Good question, Thomas. The algorithm changes they made, I think, honestly, I think that part of it is unintended. I know I called Google evil a couple of times, and I kind of stand by that with what they're trying to do politically. But at the same time, I think some of the effects that have hit some of the channels like my own could, in fact, be unintentional. It could be changes the, because when you mess with a sophisticated AI like the Google algorithm, it's going to have unintended consequences, and they got to try and work out the kinks. But we'll see. We'll find out over time if there was any malicious intent by will they correct it. And if they don't correct it, then I think YouTube will go down. I truly do. And Chief wants me to read his last comment, which I hate when you guys say read my last comment. That's just really. But do you think Captain Data and a Sovereign class starship will be in the Picard series? No, I do not. Genuinely don't. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of crossovers with other TNG characters. So yeah, raise taxes, drive industry away. Yes, that's the motto right now. Still waiting for Kronos to answer. He's busy talking to Mrs. Anti-Trekker. And let's see. Miss Anti-Trekker saying hi back to Kronos. Yep, I agree. Both Picard is Rambo and the Borg are neutered. Yeah, that's the biggest problems with that movie. Although I did like the battle at the beginning. That was cool, even though Starfleet basically beat the Borg with torpedoes. But that doesn't really make sense, but yeah, it is what it is. Don't know what to pick because of the change. Well, BIRDOPREY posted on antitrekker.com the list if you wanted to look at it. But see if do you remember which one you want, and we'll see if we can figure it out. Because some I know, like obviously the Death of Disco we know is number 23, and that's everybody's favorite. Anti-Trigger, go to bed, bro. Can't do that till I get the super chats taken care of, Captain Cat. I am not the kind of person that puts that off. Because I have a horrible memory, and I don't want to have to come back to it and have somebody say, you forgot me. I don't know, we might see a Kling Orc Wharf. Oh, man, if we see a Kling Orc Wharf, I will literally throw something at my TV. Is there any word on a ship for Picard? No, they have not made it clear what kind of ship or if there will be a ship involved at all. Mr. Wolverine throws $2 in, says, I kill that Disco dead. You got it, my friend. Let's kill that Disco. Meanwhile, BIRDOPREY throughout the list isn't the 80s UBERCHAT. Yes, check the list that BIRDOPREY just linked to. I do love that one. And Kronos says, UBERCHAT number 7, thanks to Bird. And yes, thank you, Bird, for compiling that list for everybody. A public service from BIRDOPREY 5, ladies and gentlemen.
So, does anybody really know why we're fighting anyway?
Well, I think... Hey, didn't he vote for Trump?
He did.
Get him!
So remember, if anyone has an opinion, they're probably wrong.
Now we know!
And knowing is half the battle.
There we go. Knowing, and you know, that is so appropriate these days because that is the Google attitude in a nutshell right there. If they have an opinion, they're probably wrong. Cora says, Worf cannot exist due to the retcon the Klingons mean, so Worf can never exist, or Martok, or Kor. Well, you know, the funny thing is you're absolutely right, because, like, for example, the whole, they've retconned out the entire Enterprise plot with the virus that got rid of the bumps. That's just gone now. Which means that when Worf referred to those Klingons, that can't happen. And so that means that, yeah, they just completely destroyed canon. Continuity with that. Sci-Fi wants to know, will Brent Spiner make an appearance as Data on Picard given the right amount of money? Well, sure, Brent Spiner is a whore like any other actor, and if you give him enough money, and but I've never heard Brent Spiner say he was philosophically opposed to appearing in Picard or anything. However, there's a couple of problems. One, Brent Spiner is old now, and I'm sorry, but Data should not appear old, right? Number two, and this is probably more important, they don't have the budget to pay for Brent Spiner. It's not a matter of could they bribe him to do it. Sure they could. With enough money, you could get almost anybody to appear on your TV show, right? If you offer them enough to do it, they do it. But can they afford it? Probably not. As it is, I mean, if you look at the real numbers that are available, it doesn't appear that too many people are all that interested in CBS All Access. BIRDOPREY is trying to see which sundress matches the high heels. Yeah, I can't wait to find that one. Antchecker, even Aunt May, what? You mean, would she appear if you paid her enough? Sure, I'm sure Marissa Tomei, she appeared as Aunt May, right? So, yeah. If Data's in the Picard show, it'll probably be as dumb and his cameo and as dumb as his cameo in Enterprise. You may check me in for Rain Counselor. Yeah, you're probably right. I honestly, yeah. Well, first of all I care about, honestly, is will the Picard show be any good? Based on what we're seeing so far, I doubt it. So we'll find out in a few months. All right, guys, have a good one. And remember, spread the word or Mr. Miles may starve.